still out. The all-time series, the Nets have taken the lead back because of this active winning streak. 107, 101. Nets have won 9 in a row.
What's going on, everybody? John on here with you. It's a quick injury pivot from the Denver Nuggets and the Miami Heat. Again, it's just a mash unit. Every time I try to go cover anything with the Nuggets and even other teams that bring it in. So we're going to do the Battle of New York tonight between the Brooklyn Nets and the New York Knicks. So the Nets are 33 and 23 on the season. The Knicks are 31 and 27. Here's your starting lineup for the Nets. It's Spencer Dinwiddie with Mikal Bridges and Cam Johnson. Dorian Finney-Smith and Nicholas Claxton will be in the backcourt. Usually off the bench, it's Patty Mills, Joe Harris, Cam Thomas, Ben Simmons, Yuta Watanabe, and Durant Sharpe. And for the Knicks, head coached by Tom Thibodeau, it's Jalen, Brunson, Quentin Grimes, R.J. Barrett, Julius Randle, and Jericho Sims. On the bench, usually Immanuel, Quickley, Derrick Rose, and Fournier, Josh Hart, Toppin, and Isaiah Hartenstein. There's only a couple injuries today to speak of on both sides. It'll be Seth Curry for the Nets, and it's going to be Mitchell Robinson for the Knicks. So this will be a look for me and a look for all of us to do this play-by-play side of it in the sense of the trades that came over from the Phoenix Suns. And on the Nets side, we're talking about Mikal Bridges, talking about Cam Johnson, Spencer Dinwiddie from the Kyrie Irving deal. Spencer Dinwiddie's back in familiar territory with the Brooklyn Nets, but with Mikal Bridges and Cameron Johnson, what people have to realize, these are just not side pieces. These are good NBA players. And when you think about Usai, the GM for the Nets on that side, got a pretty good haul for Irving. And Irving needs to get signed to a contract by Dallas, or maybe it'll just be one of those see how it goes type of years. But with Kevin Durant, you got the haul back on the other side that included Bridges and Johnson, so they're going to play big-time minutes. And Dorian Finney-Smith, as you know, is a good 3-and-D guy. So it's not like the Nets have a bad team with everything else that's left. And when you have Nick Claxton playing the way that he's been with about a 25 and 15 type clip, and then the same side, you have a pretty good squad. When you also think about Cam Thomas, if he continues to get 40-point games. So we're underway right now. John, I'm here with you on the play-by-play. I'm watching on the NBA League Pass side, broadcasting on Twitter Spaces and YouTube as Jalen Brunson will try to hook from 5. He'll get it back. This will get sent over to Quentin Grimes in the corner, and the Knicks had a couple really good looks at it. But now this will be the first opportunity here for the Nets. They're in the black. They're going to be going left to right. This is the Battle of New York on Yes. That's what I'm watching right now on the NBA League Pass side. So Spencer Dinwiddie. We'll get this one here for Bridges. He'll fall back from 12 feet and knock it down. So Brooklyn's got the early lead at 2-0 with 11-10 left to go in the first. Jalen Brunson going to go right to left, in New York Knicks in the all-white. So it's the whites and the blacks. The jerseys are pretty simple there on that side. It's a rivalry that has, I believe, finally had the Brooklyn Nets start to take the lead because they've been a little bit of a lengthy win streak. They won 9 of the last 9 matchups against the Knicks as Jalen Brunson will step out from 18 and miss, and it's 0 for 3 to start for the New York Knicks. Finney-Smith gets it to Dinwiddie. Again, teammates on Dallas as well, so they're going to be very familiar with each other. Mikal Bridges, no hesitation, he airballs it, but Julius Randle actually saves it before it goes out of bounds. So we're not much for Robinson. Again, you don't have that big man in the middle to block shots, but Julius Randle can handle all of that stuff. You think the Lakers are missing him as he steps back from about 14 and knocks it down. So it's tied at dose. 10-20 left to go in the first. John here with him. The call at MSG. Again, I always love to say this. One of the buildings that's not sorted out to a corporate name, and you got to love that. Cam Johnson. We'll give it back to Dinwiddie on the right wing side. Gets a screen from Nick Claxton. Dinwiddie tries to shoot the rainbow over 16 feet. Good contest there by the Knicks. And Julius Randle will clean the mess, and he's going to get a chance to run the point a little bit as he crosses the timeline. He's got Cam Johnson on the right wing side. He goes up the half spin, falls away again, and knocks it down from the other wing. So one from the left wing, one from the right wing. Take that, says Julius Randle. 9:45 left in the first, and the Knicks have the lead. Cam Johnson now with Dinwiddie. Dinwiddie cross-court pass here for Bridges. He floats it. He draws the foul. He's going to go to the line to shoot 2. So for Mikal Bridges and for Cam Johnson, what we know about them from the Suns is they are lengthy guards that can play in the front court or the back court at the times and play some good defense, knock down the three-point shot, get to the lane, do a little bit of everything. So that was just a out of bounds. That was not in the act of shooting, but Cam Johnson will get the basket anyway. Just talk about those two, and they both just scored. So Brooklyn The Knicks are tied at 4 with 9:25 in the first. Brunson now from Grimes as he gets it back around the Knicks logo. Drop pass inside. And this will go to Jericho Sims. Jalen Brunson going to pick the dribble back up as well with his foot. Going baseline. Here's a chance for Grimes. He's got to fall away from 14 off the front of the rim, and this is rebounded by Cam Johnson. Spencer Dinwiddie across the timeline. Gets a nice screen set up there from Cam Johnson. He's got RJ Barrett on him. He's got the size mismatch. He's just going to float it off the front of the rim, and this will be cleaned up by Julius Randle again. It's already his 4th rebound of the game. Randle going to try to get the match on Finney-Smith. He draws the foul, hits the basket. Unless they're going to count that before the shot. No, they're not. They're going to give him the and one opportunity. As it was a hand in the face by Dorian Finney-Smith and Julius Randle. Go to the line for an and one opportunity. Appreciate the like. Appreciate the looking in right now on the YouTube side, guys. We did a little late pivot as far as the Nets and the Knicks. A little bit too much injuries in between the Heat and the Nuggets. So I figured let's do the Battle of New York on NBA League Pass. So Julius Randle is at the line. Really isn't anything that Julius Randle can't do. Again, toward the very early part of his Lakers career when he was injured halfway through the season. Takes a little while for big men to get going, but how about this? 58 games this year, 25 points, 11 rebounds, and 4 assists. That is heavy, heavy artillery. And the funny part is the LA Lakers also got D'Angelo Russell back. They just couldn't get Julius Randle, and I bet they're missing him. As this gets tapped out there by Jericho Sims, it's Jalen Brunson, 1-on-3. He's going to leave this off the spin move. RJ Barrett, what a cleanup by Jericho Sims as he slams it down. 9-4, the Knicks have the lead with 8:15 left to go in the first. And now Dinwiddie will back this all the way out toward the right wing side. Gets a screen from Finney-Smith. Put his head down was Bridges. Great defense by Sims. Had to force a pass out. Nick Claxton, Hawkin hit it over Randle. So good work by both of these teams in amongst the redwoods and the trees, but it was both big to big as it's fall away mid-range shots and it's put back slams and it's hooks and hits. You love the skill that the NBA can bring, and what I like right now is the early defensive effort by Jericho Sims. Again, it's going to be one of those situations where it's going to be tough to replace Mitchell Robinson in the middle for this game. But still, you take that size and that jump in the effort as the and one's completed. And now it's 9-7. The Knicks lead cut down to 2 with 8 minutes left to go in the first. Brunson has it about the Knicks logo right now. We'll get the screen from Julius Randle and now from RJ Barrett. Half spin. Now trying to back down. It's Quentin Grimes. Left wing side for 3. Bottoms for Quentin Grimes. He knocks it down. 12-7 with 7:40 left to go in the first. The Knicks back out front by 5. Spencer Dinwiddie. Couple of dribbles. Julius Randle's on. I'm just trying to front. And Dinwiddie blew right by. Got right to the lane and laid it right in. 12-9 now. Great move by Spencer Dinwiddie. And you forget he can still be a blur at 6'6". Again, he was a former second-round pick of the Detroit Pistons, and I would still miss him and Chris Middleton, who are both second-round picks. My goodness. Brunson, he got cut off, lost the dribble, shot clock down to 5. Barrett's got to try to get to the lane. Quentin Grimes will step back for 3, hit it off the front of the rim too strong, and rebounded by the Brooklyn Nets. As Nick Claxton, again, I had to watch because he had a little bit of a haircut. He had half fro, and now he's got the clean shave. As this is picked by Cam Johnson. Mikal Bridges with a late contest by Julius Randle. As this gets picked up by Claxton, hooked back in with the help of Cam Johnson. 12-11 now. The Knicks have the lead as it's down to 1. Brunson as it is, he's going to leave now for RJ Barrett. RJ Barrett trying to Euro his way down the line, but a great defensive play by Claxton. And now Dorian Finney-Smith will cross the timeline here, left to right for the Nets. Brooklyn trying to take the lead once again. Dinwiddie, that was a lob opportunity for Nick Claxton, but it just went out of his hands. Behind the back, down the lane, Julius Randle now to the Euro. What a block by Claxton again. As he came all the way back, he blocked him to one side. He missed the lob. He didn't stop running, came all the way back and blocked the Knicks in transition with Julius Randle. You love that effort for Nick Claxton. You bet Jacque Vaughn does as well. They go to a commercial timeout. Knicks got a 12-11 lead over the Nets. Come right back. So once this game is done, again, we will have the complete game coverage of Hopeless Sports Guy www.wordpress.com per usual. Tomorrow, I don't think anything else will be flexed because it's going to be NHL assignments the rest of the week. I'm interested tomorrow to see whether or not the Colorado Avalanche will have an answer after getting punched in the mouth by the Tampa Bay Lightning. It was going to be another rematch, the last one of the regular season between the Stanley Cup champion Avalanche and the runners-up in the potential three-time back-to-back before Colorado canceled it out tomorrow. That'll be at 9 Eastern. That'll be my next assignment. I should be with Cooper Hopkins on Thursday, about 9:15 Eastern for the Red Wings and the Flames, and then back for Saturday side in between either the Rangers and the Flames, if Cooper Hopkins will be able to join me, or there's so many other games on that Saturday side, we could flex something else for the NHL assignment. It should be good. But I wanted to get some NBA in, especially before the All-Star break. That's going to be upcoming this weekend. So we got our starting lineups and everything else out of the way for them. As I said, no Seth Curry and no Mitchell Robinson tonight. So when we're looking at the line, Knicks minus 145 to start. The over-under is at 220 points even. And the Knicks come into this game a 3-point favorite over the Brooklyn Nets. Very interesting considering, again, no Mitchell Robinson. You have Mikal Bridges, Cam Johnson, Dorian Finney-Smith. I think they're going to be able to fit right in. I don't see Brooklyn having any kind of problem as far as transitioning into this type of offense because Mikal Bridges and Cam Johnson are used to playing a very large role for the Suns. So I see them doing the same things for Brooklyn. And again, that was the YouTube question I threw out there. Do the new look Brooklyn Nets still make the playoffs? The early vote right now says yes. Brooklyn's 33-23. I don't see them falling out too far out of the race. They got good players all the way across the board. You got Joe Harris off the bench pounding threes. If you ever find out, again, it feels like a Jonathan Huberdeau situation, but on the basketball court, it's Ben Simmons. If you ever figure out that situation to get Ben Simmons back on track, you have a piece at 6'11" that can run the point and play well, but he's just in his own head with all the other things. So that's a piece that Brooklyn's going to need, but we'll see what happens. Back underneath it right now, sideline out of bounds. Mikal Bridges will pick this up toward the left wing. He had to step away all the way from the left wing side, and he rainbowed airball. And this was picked up by Cam Johnson. So now Brooklyn can try to take the lead here. Dinwiddie, rock the dribble. Dorian Finney-Smith for three. Bottoms. So Dorian Finney-Smith knocks it down. 14-12 is the score. He can definitely do that. And the Nets have the lead. Again, they've won the last 9 against their rival in New York, as R.J. Barrett almost lost the handle. Now he'll back all the way out to the right wing. Shot clock down to 5. He's looking to go isolation here on Nick Claxton. He needs some help. Shot clock down to 1.5. Somehow got it between his feet. It goes back here for Jericho Sims, and he got ripped. Dorian Finney-Smith, he threw a lazy pass, and now this is turnover. Quentin Grimes trying to set up R.J. Barrett for 3. He missed it too strong up the front of the rim, and Nick Claxton gets the rebound. Claxton with his head down now with the help of Bridges. And is that going to be a traveling violation or an and one? 5:12 left to go in the first. I thought Bridges was fouled. Just like the Marv Albert, he thought he was fouled. He used to say that all the time at the Oakland Press. This picked up by Bridges. He definitely got bumped, so this should stay with the Brooklyn Nets. With 5:12 left to go in the first. Nets got a 14-12 lead. John on here with you on the play-by-play of the NBA League Pass side as we're at MSG. Excuse me, this is Knicks ball, as this was ruled a turnover and be a travel violation. So now Jalen Brunson gets us back to the right wing side. He's going to step back on Joe Harris. He's going to knock it down as it's pure from 3, and the Knicks one more time take the lead, as this has been a seesaw game back and forth so far. Appreciate you guys listening in between the YouTube side and the Twitter Spaces side. Dinwiddie try to get down the lane. His pass got deflected. A foul's going to call on the floor. This will stay with Brooklyn, and that I'm sure of, with 4:43. And Spencer Dinwiddie looks on. Again, he's back to where he's used to. He had a little bit of time in Dallas. Now he's back in Brooklyn. When they had Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving before the James Harden deal, again, you can say that did not work out. But for everything else with the after James Harden was done, you got a lot of collateral on the back end of it for where you saw it for Brooklyn Nets from the GM side. So I don't think that they're a little bit concerned in the least as far as what Brooklyn can be going forward. You remember back in the day, even in the 60 Minutes side of it with Mikhail Prokhorov when he was the GM, when they made that huge move, and that was an epic fail in between Kevin Garnett and Paul Pierce and Joe Wallace. Everything else on this side, even though Brooklyn fans might be saying otherwise, I think Brooklyn made out roses, honestly, in that trade, and they're going to do really well going forward. And this team is still really good. So I think it was a very good call. You knew you were going to be able to keep those players, and you still got a good team intact. Isaiah Hartenstein tried to make a pass inside, and that was hopeless as that was turned over. So this will be Brooklyn basketball as Tom Thibodeau looks on. Not too pleased. I wouldn't be either. That's a little curious look on his face. Didn't want to see Hartenstein try to make a pocket pass as Harris will leave this here for Bridges. Bridges forces the baseline in a nice play and a lead for Durant Sharpe as you get an easy two to lay that right in. 18-15 is the score. Brooklyn up by 3. About 4:05 left to go in the first. Brunson now on the right wing being guarded by Joe Harris. He's still working on the back down, and now the show and go double goes around, so this ball moves around the horn. Immanuel Quickley, he got bumped by Sharpe. So that'll be his first with 3:56 left to go. In this opening frame, John, out here with you, your play-by-play man. We're at MSG. I'm getting the Yes feed on NBA League Pass. So I appreciate you guys following along. Leave any comments, questions, and concerns that you have. It's been fun so far to cover this game. This is a quick injury pivot. Oh, what a step back by Brunson. And he absolutely broke the ankles of one of the Brooklyn Nets defenders there. This was an injury pivot from the Heat and the Nuggets as Watanabe has to make the pass out. Simmons, he's out there now. And Dinwiddie back all the way out. What a screen by Sharpe. Dinwiddie's wide open from the 3. Nobody was within a mile. That was a wonderful screen. And Brooklyn takes a 21-17 lead with 3:15 left in the first. Randle. Now Immanuel quickly puts the ball down as it's Obi Toppin. He can get to the lane with the best of them, and Isaiah Hartenstein's going to get an easy one. That was kind of a fake lob floating pass, whatever you want to call that. Isaiah Hartenstein had nobody in front of him. All he had to do was just dunk it or lay it in, whatever he wanted. Simmons, hook off the front of the rim, off the push, and he makes it. So it's good to see Ben Simmons getting close and actually make a basket, as this is picked up now by Jalen Brunson. It's a 4-point lead for Brooklyn. 23-19 the scoreline with 2:40 left in the first. Randle fakes the 3. Now he takes it and nails it from the right wing. And it's a 23-22 lead now for Brooklyn. And Jacque Vaughn will take the TO. So with 2:34 in the first, we'll step aside. It's a 1-point game. Brooklyn just out front, 23-22. I'm right back.
With one of the best savings rates in America, banking with Capital One is the easiest decision in the history of decisions. Even easier than this.
Stop. You're in.
Oh, cool. Yeah, even easier than that. What's in your wallet?
I appreciate you following along, Liam, on the Twitter Spaces side. When we do get to the half, although it's 2:34 in the first, when we do get to that, we'll take a look around the NBA. I'll give you some NHL scores as well. See if I can't find some news of the day. Again, with everything that has gone wrong yesterday in between the Kansas City Chiefs and the Philadelphia Eagles, I'm sure all people have heard all this stuff ad nauseum. It was amazing what I saw on Twitter during the end of that game. Everybody's talking about the call between James Bradbury, right? But even he admits that it was a hold. He was trying to get away with it till they get a touchdown. Spirit of the law or not, because I heard Greg Olson talk about this with Kevin Burkhardt during the broadcast. If a foul's a foul, and it's got to be called, it's got to be called no matter what it is. The Eagles started that second half with a 10-point lead. They stopped running the football, and they could not stop the Kansas City Chiefs from scoring that entire half. So who's to blame? Are you going to blame the refs for 5 seconds of call, or are you going to blame the Eagles for the entire second half in which they could not stop the Kansas City Chiefs, and where Nick Sirianni got outcoached by Andy Reid. I'm going to go with the latter on that side and throw my congratulations to Patrick Mahomes as the Chiefs get the second in the era. It just amazes me what people will want to come up with and think about. I just don't understand. But again, I guess that comes from not having a dog in the fight and also covering sports as much as I do. I will say that the NFL is not my strong suit. Again, I cover NHL, NBA, MLB, and all college affiliate stuff, just like this, and they give the game story and all of that. But we watch what we watch, right? And our eyes see what they see. It's crazy to me. So we're going to get back into the play-by-play right now, as the S-Speed's getting a look at Joe Harris. Again, you know what he can do from distance, and that's about all you need. You'd think if Joe Harris was on the other side with the Dallas Mavericks off the recent trade, when you have Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving, if you're a specialist like Joe Harris is, you're going to make a lot of money. He's already made a lot of money in the NBA. So Cam Johnson will get this one over. Royce O'Neal, his pass inside off the spin, and the Nets still have it right now with Cam Johnson as Nick Claxton got canceled off. Cam Johnson got to find an in pass. And Ben Simmons missed it from 1.5 feet. My goodness. With the lay-in. That was the laziest push shot I've ever seen. Wow. So now Randle with Immanuel Quickley on the right wing side will get it back. Julius put the ball down. He's going to try to get to the lane. He gets cut off nicely by Watanabe. Fake it is Obi Toppin. He'll take the three and knock it down. So couple of steps just to buy the space in the last couple of possessions for the Knicks, and they've knocked it down from distance. Now they're up 25-23. Ben Simmons has the ball, holds it up high, leave it here for Cam Johnson. Pocket pass for Ben Simmons. He should have taken the dunk, and now he's going to leave it here for Claxton. He's going to have to force it off the front of the rim. Boy, oh boy. And now this is going to be last touched out of bounds by the Brooklyn Nets. You have Ben Simmons all the way down the lane off of a dunk, and he elects to pass instead. Again, from the hockey side, that's kind of like the Jonathan Huberdeau thing that Cooper Hopkins and I talk about the Calgary Flames. Take the opportunities that are in front of you. As Jalen Brunson steps back amongst the Redwoods and knocks it down from 14 feet. 27-23 Knicks out front of the Nets. As we get the New York rivalry here tonight, and the shot from the corner from Durant Sharpe is missed, and Immanuel Quickley will clean up the garbage. He's got on the right wing side. He thought about the three lead for Hartenstein, gets it right back. On the left wing corner, Cam Johnson is in front of his grills. The shot clock's down to 10. Quickley step it all the way back out. Now inside the post to Hartenstein. Here comes the double, and Obi Toppin. Beautiful cut. And the Knicks now have a 6-point lead, 29-23. Appreciate you guys listening in between the Twitter Spaces side between Liam and Chris, as always. And now it's Ben Simmons. Simmons gets it knocked away, but he's going to be able to get back in the backcourt. It was Brunson bothering him. Joe Harris going to let it go over Randle. Knocks it down. 29-26. And Jacque Vaughn have some words there with Joe Harris. Again, it's just good to see him back on the court. He spent most of the season, at the beginning of it, injured at least, as Jacque Vaughn looks on, as we've talked about. Again, no Steve Nash, but again, with all the other trades that were made, you kind of wonder what Steve Nash would do with this group. But Jacque Vaughn's got a great opportunity and a good team in front of him. It's good to see him as a head coach in the league. Shot clock's pretty much even here, about a second difference, maybe if that. And Brunson will step back on O'Neal. He's going to knock it down. Knicks up by 6, 5 seconds remaining left to go in the first. It's Cam Johnson. He crosses the timeline. Got to let it go. Gets stripped. And that's going to end the first. The Knicks have the lead, 31-26. When we come back, we'll call the second quarter action in a moment. Stay tuned.
This is best. A new energy drink from Gatorade.
So again, for you guys, I don't know if I said this in there. I do say this often in the sense of what comes after this game. So Hopeless Sports Guy. That's the podcast. That's the blog in which I do everything. So hopelesssportsguy.wordpress.com. That's where the story will be with the play-by-play on the recorder side. So you'll hear all the extracurricular on the Twitter Spaces like I'm talking with you now. You won't hear that on the broadcast side. That's just the strictly play-by-play. So that's where the podcast and everything goes. You can get it on Spotify, where we get podcasts, game stories, and everything else will always be there. So write and cover everything else that we do. Again, it's NBA, NHL, MLB, college affiliate coverage, and sometimes we have some fun with, World Juniors for hockey, other things like that. I get a chance to work a lot with Cooper Hopkins. We do a lot of NHL games. Our next broadcast together will be on Thursday, as it will be the final meeting of the season between the West and East side, between the Flames and the Red Wings. We're going to do that on Thursday about 9:15 Eastern. This will be my lone basketball assignment of the week. Tomorrow we have the rematch of the Stanley Cup Finals between the Colorado Avalanche and the Tampa Bay Lightning. Tampa absolutely waxed Colorado in the first game at Amalie Arena, so we'll see what goes on at Bowl Arena tomorrow. I was going to do the Nuggets and the Heat, but there were so many injuries for the Heat as well. We still have no Aaron Gordon, no Jamal Murray for Denver, but it's Nikola Jokic experience, and I imagine he's going to probably still put up his triple-double numbers because it doesn't seem to matter who he plays with. When we get to the half, I'll get you some scoring breaks. In that game, I'll just tell you right now from what we were going to cover, the Heat have a 36-27 lead, even with all the injuries. So for the Nuggets, they are 39-18, it looks like, but they're 13-14 away from the road. That is a hell of a change in a switch around when you go between Ball Arena and you go back to the road. So the Nets are fifth at 33-23 in the East. The Knicks are seventh at 31-27. Start of the second quarter underway again as the Brooklyn Nets will go left to right in the rest of this first half as they just cross the timeline. Joe Harris now for Ben Simmons. I'd like to see him go at Obi Toppin or some of these other smaller guards. Again, he's 6'11", as this will get almost picked away. Simmons moves us around the horn as it finds Cam Johnson, misses it off in front of the rim. And now this will be rebounded by former Trailblazer Josh Hart. Hart gets down the lane, scoops and scores. Josh Hart gives the Knicks a 34-26 lead. And again, for the Knicks, I think that that's a really good pickup as well. Josh Hart is a consummate professional. He doesn't always light up the scoreboard, but he always gives you what you need. As Cam Johnson, that's a no-no there. He got fouled from distance. He's going to go to the line to shoot 3 free throws, I believe, as we're going to look back down. So thoughts on the Nets' future, says Chris Monroe. They have good championship pieces, but no star. I think they still want to be competitive. Chris, I think you hit that right on the money because that's what I talked about a little bit in this broadcast as well. I think when you have Cam Johnson, you have Mikal Bridges, you have Ben Simmons off the bench, you got Seth Curry shooting, Spencer Dinwiddie's back in the backcourt side where he spent a lot of time. Remember, that's where they were when they had Durant and Irving before they got Harden. I think this is a really good Brooklyn Nets team with a solid roster all the way around the board. And hopefully Jacque Vaughn can continue to get the head coaching experience and get the time that he deserves, because I agree with you. With the picks that Usai has in front of them, not only do the Nets have a good future, I also think they have a good present. I think they're going to make the playoffs this year. I don't know how deep they'll go. I don't think that matters that much as far as I'll throw Knicks fans in there as well, but for the Knicks and the Nets as far as both of these teams. But both of these teams have a good future, and I think Brooklyn, they're not going to be too far away from a couple of years, probably making a stepping stone to do much better things, as long as they can get away from all the crazy trades of, again, the Mikal Prokhorov with the Paul Pierce and Kevin Garnett and all the experiences in between the three stars as a pair of threes were traded between both. Just concentrate on having a good team and playing basketball and building toward the future. I think the Nets look good. So the Knicks have made the last 10 field goals. I appreciate the question. So it's 37-31. RJ Barrett. Try to save it there as Josh Hart toward the left wing. Spin. What a defensive effort there by the Nets, but it didn't matter. That was Cam Thomas, still made by Josh Hart. Thomas has it. As he'll back up on Isaiah Hartenstein. 10:20 left to go in the second. Step back for Thomas. Rainbow! Knocks it down. 39-33 is the score. Knicks out in front by 6 with 10:05 left to go in the half. Immanuel Quickley, he'll float it, and this gets tipped by Hartenstein. He was just able to get it in time before it would have been a goaltending and on the way down. As the Knicks have a 41-33 lead, they can't be stopped on offense. This gets blocked away. Cam Thomas trying to find it, just pinballing everywhere. Joe Harris gets this to Cam Johnson, and he knocks it down for 3. So great effort there by the Brooklyn Nets. Try to keep it alive. It was being tapped around like a foosball. As this gets picked back up, both teams are 6 of 9 and 5 of 9 shooting. The Knicks have the ever slight edge in the 41-36 lead. The Nets have won the last 9 matchups between the Battle of New York. Josh Hart all alone from the left wing. And Hart has been on some kind of run since he just stepped off the bench. 44-36. The Knicks are looking good. Simmons. Cam Johnson, he runs right into Simmons. It was almost a brick wall. You kind of wonder how he doesn't use that to his advantage. As this will get picked up for Sharpe. Sharpe will dribble, step back, shoot the 3. He rainbows it in. My goodness. These teams are knocking some of these ones down. And excuse me, that was Royce O'Neal. I apologize. 6 of 10 for 3 are the Nets. 7 of 10 of the Knicks. Quickley goes into the lane. He misses it off of the spin shot. And now this will be a chance for Royce O'Neal. Put his head down. Joe Harris stuck toward the right wing side, and we'll leave it back here for Cam Thomas. Thomas now with Ben Simmons, got Hartenstein on him. Going to leave it back. What a move. And somehow Cam Thomas able to make something happen. And as Ben Simmons could have went to the rim there, left it for Cam Thomas. And Cam Thomas's got smoke right in the face, right to the right side of his cheek. As there was a little bit of a foul there, a little bit of a hold and a fall down. So it's going to be a little bit of time there for Cam Thomas. I'm sure he's going to be feeling it as the basketballs will hit him on the backside on the way down. He's going to go to the free throw line to knock down 2 again for Thomas. What was it, a few days ago? He had over a 40-point game. So if you get some of that other to pick up on the bench side, I think you're going to feel pretty good for the Brooklyn Nets as well. So Spencer Dinwiddie, Dorian Finney-Smith, some of the other starters are going to check in right now. So Cam Thomas at the line trying to make both of these to put Brooklyn back within 3. This has been a great game so far. Good offensive game between both of these teams. Really started to pick up the pace from the back end of the first and all the way into the second one. Now, as we're 8:32 in the first half that's left to go. Cam Thomas has one more at the line. Missed it off the front end. And now Toppin quickly will get this across, right to left. Isaiah Hartenstein here for Josh Hart. Floated pass inside Toppin. Nice show and go off the pump fake. Toppin missed off the front of the rim, tried to get saved by Hartenstein. And this will be collected by Cam Thomas. So across the timeline, left to right again. The Brooklyn Nets are wearing the black jerseys on the road. The Knicks are on the all-white. As that got missed by Nick Claxton, he picks it up amongst the Redwoods. He gets blocked. And what are they going to call on the floor? Are they going to call a foul against the Knicks? I think they might. 44-40 is the score. Knicks out in front. It's going to be Nets basketball. As Hartenstein and Toppin just pretty much had Black Friday in a mall phone booth there for the center for the Knicks and Nick Claxton. He had nowhere to go. That was good defense there, and the refs are trying to just acquiesce there with Jacque Vaughn to see what they're going to call. It looks like this is going to be a jump ball in between Toppin and Nick Claxton. Both of these guys can jump out of the building, and Nick Claxton has a little bit of the size. I think Toppin's probably somewhere around 6'6", 6'7". Nick Claxton's closer probably to the 6'9", 6'10 marker. As Jacque Vaughn and Tom Thibodeau are trying to get everything all squared away off the jump ball. Toppin will get a piece of it, but this will go to Royce O'Neal. And now Spencer Dinwiddie. 5 seconds to work with the Nets on the shot clock. On the fall away from 12 is Dinwiddie. Missed off the front of the rim. Almost saved by Claxton. Immanuel Quickley. It's a 3-on-2. Lob opportunity for Toppin, but he had to save it before it went out of bounds. And now Hart. He'll shoot the 3. And miss it too strong off the front of the rim. And Dinwiddie will have a look. He's talking with the referee. He said, what's going on the other side? Josh Hart said there's a little bit of a push. I think Dinwiddie's a little bit upset with something on the floor as he takes out the mouthpiece and he shows a few words to the crowd and the referee. Not a very good lip reader, but there weren't any curses on that side. I can definitely say it. So this is going to be a tech maybe associated to the Nets. And that's going to put Immanuel Quickley at the line for the freebie. And he knocks it down. So it's 45-40 is your score. With 7:39 left to go on the second. Joining it with you, I'm play-by-play man. We're watching on Yes from the NBA League Pass feed. We're at MSG right now. Again, one of the buildings that's not sold out to our corporate name. So I always love that on that side of it. So Spencer Dinwiddie did indeed pick up a tech. One more of any variety, and he is gone. Dinwiddie has it. He'll leave it here for Royce O'Neal. He'll fake the pump fake as the dribble's still alive now for Cam Thomas. Floater inside, draws it. He's going to go to the line to shoot two, as this will get picked up by the Knicks. So I'm going to look right now to see if they show anything on the S feed. Spencer Dinwiddie, oh yeah, RJ Barrett got a piece of the hand, and there was no foul on that side, and that's why Spencer Dinwiddie got the attack. He was a little bit upset on the other end. So Cam Thomas going to try to go back to the line where he just made the last two and try to get two more. Try to make this a 45-42 game. So as we talked about, and what Chris had mentioned, it's a very strong lineup here for the Brooklyn Nets from top to bottom. Today it was Spencer Dinwiddie, Mikal Bridges, Cam Johnson, Dorian Finney-Smith, and Nick Claxton in the starting lineup for Jacque Vaughn's squad. And when you think about that, in those five names, you have guys that are maybe, if you want to be fair, whether it's fair or unfair, you can tell me, like five small forwards on the floor that can almost all handle the ball with the exception of Nick Claxton that can all shoot as well. So that can make things a hellish variety when you're thinking about NBA basketball and positionless basketball, like a lot of people want. So Brooklyn's 8 of 10 from the free throw line right now, and the Knicks are just 2 of 2. As we're going to fall on the floor, this will stay with the Knicks as they have a 3-point lead, 45-42, with 7:13 left. As Dinwiddie picks up the foul. This might just be an off-the-ball foul or a defensive three. This was a defensive three. He's just sitting in the lane without guarding. So that is another one for the Knicks to go to the line to shoot the free throw, and Jalen Brunson toilet seats this one all the way in and out. So that will not count. And it's not going to bite to Brooklyn, even though it would just be 1 point. But again, you want to stay away from fouls like those, as you just didn't have anybody in front of him. So Quickley will be the trigger man here for Jalen Brunson. Cam Thomas trying to bother him now with Dorian Finney-Smith up the show and go. And now this is Nick Claxton against Jalen Brunson. He's trying to put up the dribbles. Josh Hart down the lane, as there was some beautiful defense there by the Nets, the host of them. And this is picked up now by Claxton to Dinwiddie. So he'll step back toward the top of the key, now accelerate. One-handed dribble, leaves it off for Claxton. He buys the space off of the pivot, and he's going to go to the line to shoot two. When we come back from the commercial break, 6:49 left to go in the half. The Knicks up 45-42. Stay with us. I humbly appreciate you guys listening and following along for as long as you want to. As always, I'll never make no bones about it. Continue to leave your questions or whatever you want. Again, we will go around the league at the halftime side of it, and the full game story with the play-by-play is going to follow along once this is done. So I am, for those guys that are listening in here, 35 years of age. I am from Detroit, Michigan. So I kind of cover all those stuff. Obviously, I love the Red Wings and some of the Detroit teams like that, but let's face it, all of them are dumpster fires right now. So can't always cover the hometown assignments. It's been struggle street, all right? So when you're not thinking about either like the Michigan Wolverines or the Spartans or anything else like that, there's not much going on over here as far as these pro teams. So when I look at everything else, you kind of just wonder what it would be like to have a good team. Because it's been since I graduated high school in 2005 with the Going to Work Pistons, it's been a long time since they've been relevant. The thing that really bothers me as we're in the middle of our commercial break is even though the Pistons have 3 NBA titles as a franchise, they really feel like they treat themselves like a second-class franchise, don't they? And I know it's going to take a while for Troy Weaver to go ahead and move this back into a winner. Look, I'll be honest with everybody. I'm not going to say the Sadiq Bey trade was a bad one. I don't think it was. I think you already know by the time the Pistons will be relevant, you're not going to want to pay Saddiq Bey close to $85–90 million. I think it was the right move to move on from him. I think the fans really overvaluated Saddiq Bey. They fell in love with that 50-plus point game against the Orlando Magic, but he's not that type of guy, and he's kind of regressed a little bit. But again, you can say that about Dwayne Casey. That's what bothers me is there's no development on that side. For James Wiseman, what you do bring in is you bring in the same player from the draft class with Saddiq Bey that, correct me if I'm wrong, was the second pick in the NBA draft at that time for the Golden State Warriors. Look, the Warriors are not going to let him make a mistake because they try to have championship aspirations. So if Wiseman gets healthy and you have Jalen Duran and you have Wiseman and you have some scoring opportunities, that leaves you with something to ponder. And the Pistons can see what they got. But they really need to get Cade Cunningham back. They need to get everything else situated. Victor Wembanyama would sound nice. I don't think the Pistons will win the lottery that soon again after getting Cade Cunningham, a couple seasons ago. But you can dream. They're probably going to end up with a top 3, top 4 pick at worst. And they'll continue to move forward there as you have Cade, Jalen, and Jaden Ivey as your future. And you have to see what else comes out in the wash. So checking back in from the break here, about 6:49. We'll have to go in the second. John Under with you. I'm your play-by-play man as we get the NBA League Pass feed on Yes. First free throw is missed there for the Brooklyn Nets. They have one more coming. It's a 45-42 lead for the Knicks. The one advantage that Brooklyn has had is they've gone to the line a bevy of times, more so than the Knicks at this point, as it's a 2-point game now as the free throw pairs are split. It's Brunson against Dorian Finney-Smith, and now lead for Immanuel Quickley off the give back to Brunson. Brunson from the top of the key off the right wing shows off of the step back a little bit of a shimmy, and I think he's going to draw the foul against Finney-Smith. We'll see if that is in the bonus yet or if that is just going to be sideline out of bounds with 6:34 left to go in the second quarter. And Brunson, again, I will say this, for as small as Jalen Brunson is out of Villanova, he is definitely really good at getting inside the lane, getting to his spots, and being shifty, quick, knowing when to dribble, make some threes, make some stuff in the mid-range. He is just a really good player. For those that had mocked on the inside of the NBA side, I'm talking about Kenny Smith and Shaquille O'Neal, when they said, was Jalen Brunson and Charles Barkley, is he one of the best free agent pickups of all time? And they laughed and said, well, what about LeBron? What about Kevin Durant? You can't count those guys. Jalen Brunson is a damn good player. The Knicks have been waiting for somebody to join their team, whether his dad is on the team or not. That's going to bring them to a more positive aspect. And Jalen Brunson's done all of that and more. If you're a Knicks fan, I don't think anyone could be happier from what's been done. So this is going to be Nets basketball. As it got knocked on the sideline out of bounds by Jericho Sims. He was the one that last touched it. With 6:20 left to go in the second. Dinwiddie was the one driving down the lane. And Jericho Sims got a piece of the hand of Dinwiddie, as Dinwiddie's been all around this ball right now. And the defense has made things a problem. I can imagine why Dinwiddie's been a little bit upset. He's already got one tech, though. He can't pick up another one. Dinwiddie will get it now from Nick Claxton. And a foul on the floor with 6:14 left to go in the second. And with Brooklyn in the bonus, they're going to go back to the line as Josh Hart has some words as well. Again, you guys can help me on this side if you're Knicks or Nets fans. When I thought about Obi Toppin, and I look at some of the stuff that I've seen, especially off the commercial breaks in the League Pass side, they showed a couple things where the Knicks had the basketball. Obi Toppin's waiting for the lob on the left side of the wing. He's wide open. And some of these guards just don't see him, and then you see him just demonstratively stop his feet on the ground and be a little bit upset. But again, if that's the one meal ticket that you're really good at, slashing the rim, and your teams don't see you, and you're starting to lose some games, I think I'd be a little bit upset too on that side. 6:05 as Jalen Brunson got absolutely swatted on the other end by Sharpe. That was a heck of a jump sequence with 6:07 left in the first. Let's see if that actually went in. They're going to call this maybe goaltending. Still, I love the effort by Durant, Sharpe, and I hope that Jalen Brunson is no worse for wear. And I'm going to look back in the comments section there, Chris, when we get a chance to get a stoppage. I appreciate all that stuff on that side. As Spencer Dinwiddie, as this is a foul on the floor, this will go be an offensive foul. It was a little bit of a push-off, an illegal screen there. And it's going to be Knicks basketball. 49-45 is the scoreline. Appreciate the likes on that side for the YouTube side. It's been pretty active. As always, guys, I appreciate it. It's been a pivot assignment in between the Nuggets and the Heat. With all the Heat injuries, with all the stuff that's still being dealt with Jamal Murray and Aaron Gordon, I've been wanting to cover the Nuggets, but I just don't want to deal with all the bench players all the time. I want to watch some starters and see some other things on the floor. So maybe you're going to have to wait till playoff time. I would hope not, because I do want to see Jokic. I haven't got a chance to watch him this year. As Brunson off the step back and leave it here for Immanuel Quickley. He's got a lot of time from the second quarter. I don't think he's even checked out. Hart off the half spin, still has the basketball. Now pivot off the front of the rim as he just missed it, just short. He had 2 seconds to work with on the shot clock. Dinwiddie pulls up top of the key, knocks it down. And Brooklyn's back within 1, 49-48 as Spencer Dinwiddie blasts it from the top of the key. Quickley trying to get around Dinwiddie. Now Randle will step into a three from the right wing, short, miss it off the front of the rim, and this one gets rebounded by Cam Thomas. Dinwiddie off the step back, now the right wing three, and he missed it. This is a volleyball tap. This will go right to Cam Thomas. They'll go down the lane and push shot right in. 50-49, the Brooklyn Nets take the lead with 4:50 left to go in the second. It's their first lead since 23-22, and a timeout here by Tom Thibodeau. I don't blame him. We'll come right back. The Nets have just taken the lead. It's been a good contest right now as we're late in this first half. Stick with me. So let's look in this comments section.
We do it every night. Every night.
So you said completely agree. I also wonder what the Nets plan to do with Ben Simmons. He has a ton of potential, but he just seems off. I'm going to make sure that I throw these in there well, just in case anyone else sees it. No, I agree. I don't want to sit and slam on NBA players or NHL players. Again, it puts a pit in my stomach, and I go back to the NHL side of it with Jonathan Huberdeau, and I mean this because it's the same thing for Ben Simmons. I'll talk it to you like this. We know what Ben Simmons can do, right? He could be a triple-double threat. I don't care if it's 10, 10, and 10, but he's one of those guys that can get you points, rebounds, assists, that marker. On the NHL side, if you get 100 points in a season, that is a top-tier type of player. So for the Florida Panthers, I'll just make this a quick just in case you don't follow hockey. They won the President's Trophy last year, which was for the best record in the NHL. Huberdeau had about 115 points. So he's a top-tier player, no doubt about that. He's like a top-5 player in the NHL. He gets traded, goes to the Calgary Flames, and he looks like he might get 35 or 40 points this year. 82-game season, just like it is in the NBA. So my point being is this. When you flip it back around to Ben Simmons, you have a guy that has triple-double potential, and you have times, and Charles Barkley says this, it's not even the triple-single from the Draymond Green side. There's games where Ben Simmons doesn't even get a basket. I don't know what to say as far as, all right, look, we can talk about it between DeMar DeRozan, and you can talk about it between Kevin Love, whether there's something going on between the ears. We're all human. Things happen, and I won't sit there and make fun of or push any of those points. If that's going on with Ben Simmons, and he's unfit to play the game of basketball, he's got to get the help he needs before he steps back on the court. It's hard to be able to do that when you're making hundreds of millions of dollars. I get it. Everybody else is correct on that when they argue with that. But there's no excuse for a guy that is 6'11", that has all that kind of talent, that can run the lane, even if he can't shoot, even if he's more like Rajon Rondo from the beginning with the Boston Celtics. I know the size difference, but the point guard that couldn't shoot. Ben Simmons can still rock the rim. He can pass the ball. He can set up plays. He can get rebounds. He can do all that other stuff. But what's not connected is that synapse in his brain. Those wires are not crossing And there's something wrong over there because a player like him, he's way too good to be a pouty face, and he's way too good to be struggling as much as he is. He's got to get it together. Checking back in now, it's Julius Randle. Got 2 seconds to work with on the shot clock, and he nails the contested mid-range shot. So Julius Randle, which you got to love about the former LA Laker, now New York Knick. I love that he can get to anywhere on the floor and make his shot. He's versatile enough to make shots, make threes, get rebounds, rock the rim, do a little bit of everything, and he can put the ball on the floor. That's great. So Spencer Dinwiddie, we'll get the post position on Grimes. I like the attack anyway. He's going to draw the foul, hook and hit. So Spencer Dinwiddie going to go to the line for the and one opportunity. It's 4:12 left to go in the second. Look, I'll make no bones about it in the sense of what Kyrie Irving brings. We know he's an offensive superstar. I think, Chris, on that side, you got to like Spencer Dinwiddie, right? When he comes back, as he is right now, completes the one opportunity, you know what he is. He's going to be able to put the ball in the hole. He's a big point guard. He can get to the lane. He do a little bit of everything. He can score. He can shoot the three. He's just a smart player. I'm missing him as a second-round pick of the Pistons. I'm not going to lie. As Jalen Brunson sticks it from range from up the left wing side for three. And now the Knicks back out in front, 54-53. This has been a fantastic game so far. Both teams has given as good as they get. Cam Thomas, he lost it off of the pivot foot. He's got to pass it back out. And this will go from Durant Sharpe now to Dinwiddie. Shot clock down to 5. Long distance three for Dinwiddie up in front of the rim. This will get saved by Sharpe. Long outstretched pass. This will go back to Dorian Finney-Smith. So DFS will get this around now here for Cam Thomas from a Dinwiddie pass. And a floater miss off the front of the rim. Julius Randle off the half spin. Holds off the dribble. Leaves it here for Hart. Gives it back to Randle. Top of the key for three. Missed it off the front of the rim. Jericho Sims couldn't get it as this was a good acquiesce there by Cam Thomas. And now Mikal Bridges. Mikal Bridges, he's going to flip that over Jericho Sims. He got swatted big time. And Jericho Sims, cross-court pass. This is Brunson from Randle. Good look there, but Spencer Dinwiddie gets the rebound. Dinwiddie across the timeline, left to right. Dinwiddie now gets the half screen. This is open here. Chance for Thomas off the floater. Missed it off the front of the rim. He looks like he could be pretty adept at that. He's tried it many times already. He's missed the last couple. As Randle having now toward the right wing. He wants to back down Spencer Dinwiddie. Why not? I'd trust him to do so. Step back from 10 feet. Wow, what a rainbow shot for Julius Randle. That was extraordinarily difficult, but he made it look easy. 2:30 left to go in the second. Knicks up at 56-53. We'll take a timeout. Jacque Vaughn going to diagram something when we come back. So I'll throw something your way, Chris. I know you've asked me about the Nets and stuff like that. Well, let me ask you, what do you think their ceiling is this season? Do they win a round in the playoffs? As you get a look toward the commercial break on the League Pass side, I see what the fans are seeing as Tracy Morgan is at the game right now between the Knicks and the Nets. Always good to see him. Beautiful look at MSG right now. We're going to be getting back into the action here. I'd always love to go there, whether to watch the Knicks or to watch the New York Rangers. I'm going to put that one on my bucket list. Next game for the Nets will be against the Miami Heat. Again, when I talked about it as far as possibly covering the Nuggets and the Heat to start at 7:30 instead of this one, there's about 7 injuries for the Heat. So we kind of just had to back off that. So we'll see what the Nets do against them. 2:25 left to go in the second quarter. John here with you at MSG. As this is flipped Mikal Bridges. It almost got stolen as Cam Johnson is back on the floor now. He'll step back on Jalen Brunson, left it short. So again, Mikal Bridges and Cam Johnson, their teammates that are playing together. Spencer Dinwiddie also back home as well as well. The chemistry is not going to be hard to find, I wouldn't imagine. There's Julius Randle, series of up fakes. As Jericho Sims tries to save it, it falls into Quentin Grimes' hands. He falls to the floor. And Randle, look at that hustle. Now he's on the left wing side, but he's stuck toward the baseline. 5 seconds to work with on the shot clock. He is palming the basketball, hits it off the front of the rim too strong, and now picked up by Brooklyn. They're going to attempt to get within one or tie this game right now. It's Dorian Finney-Smith now here for Dinwiddie. Dinwiddie got Quentin Grimes off the mismatch. A lot of size as Dinwiddie will back this down and nails it off the front of the rim and in as he gets the bounce. Figured he'd go to the turnaround shot, as it's always a beautiful one, especially when you got that size and fade away from the D. So 45% field goals this quarter, 9 of 20 the Knicks, 7 of 18 are the Nets. Knicks up by 1, 56-55. It's been a good contest. Jalen Brunson from 30. Missed it off the front of the rim, too strong. And now Cam Johnson will get it across to Dinwiddie in the timeline. Dinwiddie try to split across baseline. Mikal Bridges! What a three-pointer over the outstretched hands of Brunson on the right wing side. And Brooklyn takes the lead, 58-56, with 50 seconds left to go in the half. Brunson now, right wing side, he's got it at the MSG logo, not the Knicks logo. It's right where it says Chase Center for the right side of the baseline. And Brunson, fade for mid-range, ties the game at 58 as he knocked it down from 12. 38 seconds thereabouts left to go in the first half. Dinwiddie quick trigger three, and he hits another one. Spencer Dinwiddie has 8 straight points, 2 threes, and a fall away mid range. My goodness. 61-58 now the score. Brunson has it. 10 seconds difference on the shot clock. About 20 seconds left to go in the half. Brunson getting some signals down here for Randle. Looks like he wants the isolation. Quentin Grimes, he got open for 3. Way too good of a look to give up, but he just missed it. And now the Nets will have the last shot of the first half. See if they can add to a 61-58 lead. Dinwiddie stepping back, right wing side. And he missed it. Too strong. But Brooklyn has a 3-point lead at the end of the half. 61-58 your score line. When we come back, we'll go around the league. And we will call second half action between the Battle of New York. It's the Nets with a 61-58 lead over the Knicks.
Connectivity here in this first half. Dinwiddie, the Bridges, corner 3. See more of that 3-point celebration, and it's not just been about the passing, it's been about the points too for Spencer.
I will be right back. Everybody on the Twitter Spaces side of the YouTube side is going to take a quick bathroom break, a couple minutes, and I'll be right back.
All right, Knicks fans, now time for our guest DJ, a town group favorite. Ladies, welcome, DJ Turn. You can check out first our little sister tomorrow. Mention there. You feel that up? And they say yeah, and they say yeah, and they say yeah. Here's what I do is please.
All right, so you might hear a little bit of music in the background and stuff. That's just for the fans and all that, as they're getting the halftime show here at MSG. That's what you get for the NBA League Pass. So you get to see what the fans see and hear what they hear. As again, we'll just tell you, opened up a 3-point favorite in this game for the New York Knicks. The over/unders at 220 points. We might actually get to that tonight, so I think that should be safe to say. So let me go ahead and give you a live look around the league. I'll refresh the browser here. So with 2:40 left to go in the third, it's a high-scoring game between the Hornets and the Hawks. Although, again, let me just correct myself. From the going-to-work Pistons days in the middle 2000s, you think about Kobe and the Pistons, things like that. It's first to 80 probably wins. So now it's closer to 130. So always keep that in mind if I ever say something stupid. So this will be Lonzo Ball with 25 here for the Hornets. He's got 25 and 7. Terry Rozier, Scary Terry, got 21, and Gordon Hayward has 21 as well. So there is balanced scoring here for the Atlanta Hawks, and this is the first look here. Do you guys want to take a live look in is the question. I can flip the game as well. It is DeAndre Hunter, 16, Sadiq Bey, 12, Capella, 16, Young, 15, and DeJounte Murray, 15. That's a coach's dream right there, working all the way around. If you want to take a look around the league, just let me know. I will look at some of these other games. We've still got a few minutes here at least. Spurs and Cavs, 87-75. Cavs way out front right now. They're up by 12. The leading scorer, let me just make sure I got this correct. That's why I click on it. So Keldon Johnson has got 24 on 8 of 12 for the Spurs. Spurs are 14 and 43. They might be one of those top 5 teams in the lottery. They could very well get the top pick. Donovan Mitchell, the Spider, has 32. And Darius Garland, quiet tonight with the Knicks. With the Cavs having the lead 87-75. Got the matchup on the brain. Garland only has 8 points on 8 shots. So Jazz and Pacers, this one is very close. It's a 1-point lead for the Jazz, 84-83 with a $1:44 left in the third. For the Pacers, it's Aaron Nesmith, 19 points. Tyrese Halliburton with 18. Benedict Mathurin, who's one of the top rookies in the NBA right now, he's got 11 for Indiana. And for the Utah Jazz, it's Lauri Markkanen. I actually saw a Kelly Olynyk sighting too. Wow, 22 minutes. 10 points, but Lauri Markkanen's got 22. And Jordan Clarkson, you know what that is, 19 points. I will never forget what Dwayne Wade said during his career. Is if I was reincarnated, I would want to be Jordan Clarkson coming off the bench and shooting shots. No, I'd rather be Dwayne Wade being a superstar, Wade County getting all the NBA titles. I just thought that was the most curious thing I've ever heard him say. So the Sixers all over the Rockets right now, as you would expect, although it's 84-73. They're at the Wells Fargo Center. We'll see what the Sixers are doing tonight. So again, Joel Embiid got 19 points, 6 rebounds. James Harden's the leading scorer for Philly. He's got 23 on 7 of 13, 4 of 8 from 3, 5 of 6 from the line. For the Houston Rockets, it's Jalen Green with 21 points right now, the 21-year-old. Again, for the Rockets, we know what's going to end up being for the record, but you have Jalen Green is 21. You have Kenyon Martin Jr. is 22. You have Jabari Smith Jr., who was 19. I mean, this is an incredibly young team that's going to have to learn as they go. You got Usman Garuba, some of these other players like that. So give them some time. I think they're in a good situation, and hell, they'll feel better than the Pistons do right now because Jalen Green's on the floor and Cade's not. You just have to be honest. But that's going to be remain to be seen whether or not, who's going to win that one as far as the picks. So the Nuggets, they stormed back a little bit to take the lead at the half, 65-62. Nikola Jokic, 15, 5 and 5 stat line right now. So Probably going to get another triple-double. 7 of 8, 15 points. What else is new for the potential 3-time-in-a-row MVP? Michael Porter Jr. is having a great year so far. It's just good to see him healthy. He's got 12. For the Heat, let's see if it's just Bam Adebayo and Jimmy Butler. Yes, it is. Jimmy with 14 and Bam Adebayo with 13. Bam Adebayo only has 1 rebound, which is very interesting. Some other scores to report for you. The Magic and the Bulls. Again, the Bulls probably are having the season at 26-30 that you thought they'd have last year. They're having that now. For the Magic, balanced scoring all the way across the boards. Paulo Branquero with 7. Franz Wagner, Michigan man, with 7. No one else really to speak of. DeMar DeRozan with 10 for the Bulls. Zach LaVine has just 4 with 7:23 left to go in the second. You think he's going to pick that one up as well. The Pelicans all over the Thunder right now. Again, are the Thunder still rolling out the 3 Williams? Yes, they are. Williams, and Williams. It is 16 points for Brandon Ingram on 6 of 8 shooting. And for the Thunder, Shai Gilgeous with 8 on 3 of 8. So they're making him work for Jalen Williams. Jalin has 7 for OKC as they are down 49-31. It's an 11-5 lead for the Timberwolves over the Mavs. That might be one that I take a little bit of a look at just for a couple of minutes, and we'll flip back into our game. That'll be my NBA League Pass live look-in. How about that? We'll try to see if we can get any Luka magic or Kyrie magic at this point. So I appreciate you guys following along on the Twitter Spaces and YouTube side. It's been a lot more busy than I usually see it, and that's where I humbly appreciate it. And again, if I just played myself with having all this stuff freeze, we're going to have to go back because I need to reload this app. You know how it is. I got the, Amazon 4K Max Fire Stick, but the NBA app is very outdated on this side, and this is the best way to stream everything. So when that is not working correctly, you just don't have an option for anything else. So the NBA really needs to update it. If it was a console side in between the, I'm going to have to actually reboot this whole damn thing. Wow. If it was a console side in between the PlayStation or the Xbox, it's even worse. That is everything that I've heard, though. I just had to reboot the stick. But the NBA app is absolute trash. If this game was on ESPN Plus, just like all the hockey games are, it's so easy and seamless. You click on everything, it loads instantaneously. Even for this side, it's horrible. This is like the fastest stick that you can get. Again, it's only like 40 some bucks whenever it's on sale. So for anyone that doesn't have any streaming side of it, like cable services and things like that, like you don't have a cable box. I don't have that in my room, so I use a stick for everything. So here's the thing for me, and this isn't flexing at all. All of my stuff was about 14, 15 years old. That includes the TV and the computer, because my computer is a store-bought piece of garbage. And I had, you can't put parts in it like you can now, supplement stuff in and out. So my cousin helped me with that. So I have something 4K compliant in a little bit. And I did get this LG C1. I know the C3s are coming out. I had a plasma TV about 14 years ago. I got this thing for $729. I know you can stream it on the TV side, but it's even faster still using the stick. So that's why I recommend just doing that. So I got the TV and the computer upgraded, though I was going to put the graphics card in there. But the point being is all this stuff should finally be up to date. It'd be nice to see if the apps and everything else can follow along, because from everything that I'm told, it's still 720p for everybody. It'd be nice to at least get 1080. That's what you should have at this point. So everything's all booted up again. It completely crashed. Again, that's the app itself. And if I was streaming it to the TV, it'd be even slower. So you don't even bother. Let me see if I can get. We went around the NBA scoreboard. See if I can get your NHL scores as well. I'm curious to see if there's anything big. I would send a message to my buddy Cooper Hopkins. He's a big-time Calgary Flames game. I know we're covering this one. They got to win this game. They're winning 2-1 against the Ottawa Senators. The Senators are dealing with a lot of injuries. Again, they lost one of their goaltenders as well. The game I could have covered was Panthers and Wild. That's scoreless at the end of 1. And the Coyotes had 1-0 lead on the Preds. It's going to be staying up late for me because it'll be the Red Wings and the Canucks. I'll be able to watch my team play as I'm writing this one out. So we'll figure that out when we get to it. But we're going to get to this second half. I appreciate you, Chris, for sticking along with me as I try to ramble and get everything going on for the halftime. Again, if it was my buddy in here, we were doing hockey games or anything else like that, it would just be full intermissions and things like that. But I don't have any other NBA people to work with per usual. I think it was just Dustin Hall, my longtime Mavs friend, in the sense of it. But again, it's still a bit rough on that side, although it was a lot of fun. He knows a lot of inside information. Everything else that's outside of his own team, it can be a little bit of hit and miss, but that's the way it goes. It depends on what you cover. Like I said, for me, I'm not an NFL guy, so I would sound like a complete freaking moron. I don't want to pretend. I cover what I cover, and I try to do all that stuff and stay in my lane. So we have 2 other games, like I said, on the docket between the Wings and the Canucks and the Sabres and the Kings. The Kings might be able to get Jacob Chikrin. That's going to be a huge trade if they can get that from Arizona. I imagine because nobody watches Arizona because they're playing at Arizona State University right now. They don't even really have an arena. That's where Spencer Torkelson played baseball for the Tigers. But, yeah, Chikrin's going to command a lot. If the Kings do that, they will have to give up Brant Clark, probably one of their top D prospects. And I think that they'll do so because the Kings still have a couple of their other prospects when they were supposed to be rebuilding from a couple of years ago, but they're a playoff team. And when you get somebody else like Chikrin on the back end, I don't care if he plays in Arizona or not, it's going to be good. So it's 11:30 left to go in the third as this feed just cut back in. And again, I forgot to actually reset this to the Brooklyn side, so I will go ahead and do that because the Knicks side came in a little late. As we will flip this right now. So that's NBA League Pass for you in these TV feeds. And I'm going to get y'all caught up now. So there is a loose ball on the floor that was battled in between Cam Johnson and Jericho Sims. And now 11:13 left to go in the third. So the Knicks feed was way behind even on that side. So that's why we got the correct feed in front. That's why I thought it'd be Brooklyn. Yes. So this is Jalen Brunson. As they're going to be going left to right. Nice step through by Brunson as he completely broke the man down in front. He isolated and made the basket off the float shot. 61-60 is the score line. Brooklyn still in front. 10:45 left to go in the third. As this gets dunked down inside by Nick Claxton. He got an easy one. And now it's 63-60 as baskets are back and forth here. Really to start this third, apologize for the momentary freeze that we get with the troubles sometimes with the app. We're all good to go now. We're going to close this game out in the second half unless we get OT. Quentin Grimes for 3, and he ties the game from the right wing side. So we're all knotted at 63 with 10:20 left in the third. Now, Spencer Dinwiddie will back it down. Julius Randle out in front of him. Dinwiddie trying to use the off arm. That was a hopeful-looking shot. It ended up being a circus-like attempt as R.J. Barrett put a couple chop steps in, try to spin. He lost the dribble. He's going to hook and hit this one over Nicholas Claxton. Great job there by R.J. Barrett, the man out of Duke. 65-63, 22 points to 14 in the paint in favor of the Knicks. That should make Patrick Ewing happy on that side. Get those paint points. As this will go now to Spencer Dinwiddie, as with the Knicks logo. He was really hot in the first half, and now he's starting to force a couple. As this is a fast break, R.J. Barrett off the window, and scores it. Last couple shot opportunities there for Spencer Dinwiddie. I think he's going to need to slow down a little bit as he's forced a couple wild ones as the Knicks have taken a 67-63 lead. As I will pull this back up as far as our YouTube window and our box. As this gets flipped up in the air, this gets saved by Finney-Smith. He's going to go down the lane, try to score over Jericho Sims, but he formed a brick wall as he got hit in the face. It's Knicks basketball. Julius Randle between his legs trying to work his way inside the paint. Jalen Brunson right wing three, and the Knicks knock it down again. 70-63. They've certainly started the fire here in the third quarter. Timeout for Jacque Vaughn. I'll take one too. 8:54 left in the third. Come right back.
Clean is the worst. Seriously, there's gotta be a better way. So we gave Super a shot. If we don't love it, we get our money back. Spoiler alert.
Hornets now taking a 117-100 lead over the Hawks. So they might spoil Sadiq Bey's either second game or first game with Atlanta. Atlanta is one of those teams that always perplex me. Maybe I'm up to lunch on this, but I always think they have an incredibly talented roster. But they just kind of hover above 500. Then they make a late push. Then they might do something in the playoffs, but it's over. You know, they feel like a team that should always be a lot better, but they just hover in the East, and it's very confusing to me. And I believe the Hawks were also one of those teams. I want to take a look at their roster just to make sure that John Collins, he's out, as he was considered to possibly be trade bait. I don't think that ended up happening because obviously the deadline has passed. But the 25-year-old is a guy that is 6'9". He can knock down the three and do a little bit of everything. I think the question for Hawks fans as to why is probably because maybe they don't have the cap space and everything else to sign him. But I don't know. I just think you'd want to hold on to somebody like that because it's not many bigs that can run the floor, shoot the three, dunk the basketball, be smart. Look, I'm not saying he's going to break everybody down like Julius Randle has been doing in this game. And he's worth the bill. I'd certainly love to have him. I don't understand why you'd want to move on from him, to be honest with you. So a couple late games on the docket on the hardwood side will be the Wizards and Warriors. Wizards and Warriors. That was an NES game back in the day. 10 p.m. And then Lakers and Trailblazers. That one's going to be at Moda Center. It'll be Dame time against LeBron and Anthony Davis if LeBron and Anthony Davis play. That's the only issue that I have. I'm an NBA fan as much as everybody else. I know it's kind of shifted a little bit toward hockey as you're going along. Look, I've always been an NHL fan. I've been born in Michigan, so it's hard not to be. But when you're picking these matchups to call these games, I have to try to find something in a good time slot that's also not beat up and beset by injuries. That makes it a lot different than all the other sports where there's a lot more load management. So this will be an opportunity here for Nick Claxton and now Cam Johnson. Inside, Nick Claxton draws the foul, makes the basket. So Jacque Vaughn immediately off of the timeout. He wanted to get something easy. How about that? Cam Johnson slashing to the rim was Nick Claxton off the pass and able to get one in there. And again, when you don't have Mitchell Robinson to clean up anything on the interior, and let's be honest, the way Nick Claxton's been playing over the last stretch of games, it's just too easy. So he's going to go to the line for an and one opportunity with 8:44 left to go in the third. John Under with you on the call. We're at MSG. It's a good contest between the Battle of New York. Brooklyn's won the last 9 of them. The Knicks currently still have the lead, though, 70-66 with 8:40 left to go in the third. We're watching this one on NBA League Pass. We got the Yes feed, the Brooklyn Nets. Jalen Brunson off the chop step. Now he's going to try to do that again as he's trying to get it over Bridges, and he scores! With the push shot, floats it in the air, and he's going to go to the line for an and one opportunity. Jalen Brunson has been everything that the New York Knicks could ever have asked for. And when you look going into this game for Jalen Brunson, they said his last 5, he's averaged over 35. He even had a 40-point game in there tonight. He's already got 26 on 10 of 14 shooting with 4 of 6 from 3. This guy is a bucket. That's what they call a lot of these NBA players. He did miss the easy one, though, the and one, so it's still 72-66. But my goodness. And he's not the biggest guy on the floor either. So Bridges, now for Dinwiddie. He's got it towards the Knicks logo as he gets around Quentin Grimes. Now Jalen Brunson will need him. Dinwiddie put the ball on the floor off the show and go. It's Cam Thomas and Mikal Bridges. Didn't connect his eyes and hands with the basketball. Or will they say that this was last touched by the Knicks? I'm going to need to take another look at it. First replay I get on the TV side of it. Again, I know you're listening to me on the radio side. This was touched by Mikal Bridges, so they didn't show that. So, yeah, he didn't connect with the basketball off the pass. It's Brunson now. He'll scoop it to Barrett. Barrett will put the ball down in between the legs, try to get down the lane, and that got stripped nicely by Claxton. He'll take the lane, score off the end one. Nick Claxton again. He's going to go to the line. It was a 2-on-1 fast break, and he just took his time, and then a Euro stepped right toward the left lane. He got a piece of it. Randle got a piece of the body. 2 straight fouls there for Julius Randle. He tried to give him a little bit of a bear hug, but it was a little too late. And Claxton will go to the line for an and one opportunity. If Brooklyn wins this game, they can thank themselves as far as getting to the line, but they got to start converting. There's sort of a little lettuce there, as it's 72-68. The Knicks have a 4-point edge with 7:40 left to go in the third. Brunson will back down Cam Johnson toward the right wing side as the shot clock is down to 8. Brunson needs to pass out as he was stuck in toward the middle of the lane. Step back here for Randle off the front of the window, not even close to the rim. And now this is picked up by Dinwiddie. He's going to go right to left. The Brooklyn Nets in the all black and the New York Knicks in the all white at home. We're at MSG. Dinwiddie. He'll make a cross-court pass to Cam Johnson on the left wing. Missed the 3. Saved by Claxton. Forward out of bounds. Dorian Finney-Smith, left wing 3. Second opportunity. The 3 points going to count. And the Brooklyn Nets now within 1. It's 72-71. And we're going to get a timeout on the floor for Tom Thibodeau as Brooklyn, once again, they're making some inroads. This game has been back and forth. It's been a lot of fun. Stay tuned. 7:05 left in the third. Who's going to take it? Darks on the YouTube side says, I love Nick Claxton's improvement. Hell, don't we all? I didn't see this happening. We knew, I will say this, I think we all knew that with his size, he was going to be an excellent rebounder, and he'd be someone that could defend the rim. But you have Nick Claxton, who's 23 years old. You have all those pickups there from the Suns from the Durant deal. Yeah, he's great. I mean, honestly, right now I'm looking at his regular season stats. He's shooting 72% from the field. That's got to be close to tops in the NBA. The only thing I can say that Nick Claxton can do better is he's a 50% free throw shooter, but he's got 9 rebounds, 2 assists, 2.5 blocks, up from 1.5 blocks last year, and about a steal a game. So there really is nothing to complain about for the 6'11", 215 center for the Brooklyn Nets. I love it too, Darks. It's a good call by you on that side. I think Jacque Vaughn and Usai and everyone else on the Nets staff have to love it as well. Accidentally had the mic off on the Twitter Spaces. I know Darks was just mentioning this, so I wanted to throw that out again. He's going to hear me on repeat, unfortunately, for 30 seconds. But he said he loved Nick Claxton's improvement. I love it too. The only thing I saw is between the 50% free throws, he can improve on that a little bit, but he's up to 2.5 blocks a game. He is a product that continues to get better. He's starting to score a little bit on the inside. You got to like that. And as we talked about, and I had Chris in here on the Twitter Spaces side. He's been with me the whole way. I appreciate that. Nick Claxton has been great. You have Dinwiddie, who's also back. You got Bridges and Johnson, again, who are pieces that are not – there's no slouch on that side. They're all NBA players. I'm not saying NBA players for a reason. They're NBA starters. And a lot of teams don't have all that. I can't say that for my team. The Pistons don't have 5 starters in the NBA right now. It's the Bojan Bogdanovic experience and nothing else. I will say this, though. For everything that Bogdanovic has done for the Pistons, look, I know they don't win any games, but when you're consistently getting a 20-piece every single game, whether or not, I know you said it about Kevin Love years ago in Minnesota, somebody's got to score the basketball. Yes, you can make that argument. But when you're consistently putting up that kind of point spread, and you're the only one, and the team knows you're the only one, I think you can get a bench all-star spot. Should have got one. So 7 minutes left to go in the third. This is the New York Knicks basketballs. It's RJ Barrett. He's going to almost bring this one up the timeline before he leaves it here for Jalen Brunson. Brunson now on the right wing being hunted by Cam Johnson. Now Julius Randle against Dorian Finney-Smith. Who's going to cover that? Brunson was wide open. He's going to probe the baseline instead. Count the basket and the foul. Jalen Brunson. I thought he might take the three. Instead, he took an even more difficult mid-range shot and got the harm anyway. So he's going to go to the line and get the three the old-fashioned way. As Johnson, I guess, I wouldn't say slew foot, but got a piece on the side of the body. So Jalen Brunson will go back to the line. He missed the last potential and one opportunity, so if he makes good on this one. No, he does not. So he missed a couple and one opportunities, as the Knicks could at least be up 76-71. With Jalen Brunson, 9 points, 4-4 shooting in this quarter. He's just been terrific all game, though, minus those couple misses at the line. So Dinwiddie, spin, down the lane off the front of the window. That one was a better look for Dinwiddie, but he missed it. And now the pass picked up by Randle before it went out of bounds. Actually got it off of his leg. And now Randle try to get down off the spin, pivot, couple extra pivots, cross-court pass to Grimes. And that one was a little too much of a hot potato, too hot to handle. Look, it was Julius Randle. It was great defense there by Dorian Finney-Smith and Nick Claxton. You got them to box in. And you know what you like about Nick Claxton? There was about 4 TV fakes there for Julius Randle, and Nick Claxton just watched the eyes and never jumped. He didn't bite. That's what you want. You want a good stay-at-home defenseman. Use that legs and keep those hands up. Use that length. Dorian Finney-Smith down to 3 seconds. Dinwiddie going to have to force one from 35, and this gets rebounded. Claxton gets a piece of it off the front of the window. Draws the foul. Don't know if he's going to go to the line just yet. Mikal Bridges, 5:47 left to go in the third. I've done that a couple times. I should blink myself on the head. So 5:47 left to go in the third. I try to be as professional as possible. Sometimes we get those wrong. So Mikal Bridges will go to the line to shoot 2. Again, for Bridges, he's a versatile 3-and-D man, just like Dorian Finney-Smith. You can argue same type of player, same type of height, same type of skill sets. But when you have 3-and-D players on the floor, you like that. Here's what you really like, courtesy of Yes. Longest games played streaks. Mikal Bridges, active in the NBA, 367. He suits up and plays every game. A golf clap to you, sir. I would do that right now live if it wasn't for all the interference and the sounds, because for all the load management that we have in the NBA, tell that to Mikal Bridges. He makes the first opportunity to get the Nets within 1. Cans them both. 74-73, the Knicks barely out in front, as this has been a seesaw affair back and forth. 5:40 left to go in the third. Knicks will bring this left to right across the timeline. Again, they are in the home whites. Brooklyn are in the road blacks. Randle has it. Pocket pass. Obi Toppin in out of the air. And this gets saved by Quickley. Quickley has it at the top of the key, but he needs some help. Julius Randle going to have to force. Top of the key for 3 off the front, too strong. And Royce O'Neal will pick up the pumpkin. And now we'll go right to left. Royce O'Neal now for Bridges. Back to Dorian Finney-Smith. Thought about it. And Jericho Sims. We'll back it down. Leave it for Mikal Bridges. Extra pass, Finney-Smith. They'll catch and shoot from the right wing side. And Brooklyn takes the lead. 76-74. Dorian Finney-Smith. Again, we know that he can do that. Knock shots down from distance. 14 assists for Brooklyn, 10 for the Knicks. It is a 76-74 game. Jalen Brunson has got Claxton on him. It's a speed and size mismatch. Quentin Grimes down the lane. Tries to hook and hold. And I believe he's going to go right to the line as he got smoked across the top of his forehead. He took a forearm there. There's a little bit toward the right side of the eye and the cheek. I don't even think that's just a freckle. It's a little bit of red mark because he got smoked. I want to see if Bridges got a piece of it. Yeah, he got a top of his head and maybe a little bit of the stomach as well. As Ryan Rasuko talks about it, the ESPN guy that's on Brooklyn side for Yes, again, as they move some of that down for ESPN, whether you have Mike Breen or Ryan Rasuko on that side, you have those guys that also work for ESPN. So a couple free throws for Quentin Grimes upcoming. He makes the second one that will tie the game back up at 76 with 4:44 left in the third. That's exactly what he does. Tie game. We're at MSG right now. John, your play-by-play man. Again, humbly appreciated. But Chris, you've stuck around the whole way through the broadcast. Can't thank you enough, my friend. This is Cam Thomas. We'll get this one now here for Bridges. Pass across from Bridges. Thomas open from 15. This off the front of the rim. And Julius Randle sky. And he'll clear the rebound. Immanuel Quickley. They've enough for Randle. Randle can walk into the three if he wants. Instead, go down the lane. Scoop shot, scores! Julius Randle, nice body control, and the Knicks back up by 2. What a game this has been. Cam Thomas, now to Sharpe. Sharpe near the right wing, going to leave for Bridges. Bridges needs some help. He's stuck in between 3 Knicks, somehow strong enough to pull the basketball away. This goes to Sharpe, and he lays it in. My goodness, what a play by Bridges. He never gave up. He found Sharpe somehow. They tie the game at 78 from the lane for about 6 feet. Now Brunson has it. Hartenstein with a half screen. Randle has it at the right wing. Goes between his legs. Gets down the lane. Draws the foul. This one's going to be on DFS going Finney-Smith. We're going to have to get those abbreviations in there when I can. Just like RNH, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins for the Edmonton Oilers. I'm taking another look on the Yes feed as wow. That was a block from behind by Julius Randle. So not only did Mikal Bridges split 3 defenders there for the Knicks, he picks it back up. He gets blocked from behind by Julius Randle. Then toward the baseline, somehow is strong enough to get the basketball back, dump it right off to Durant Sharpe that gets a basket. And now as we're in the present day, it's Julius Randle going to the line for 2. He makes the first. Smooth shooting Joe Harris will check in for Finney-Smith just for a little while. He's going to get some bench time. And Randle have one more coming at the line to try to make this an 80-78 game. We got 3:33 left to go in the third. See if the Knicks can go back up by 2. Randle cans them both. I cannot tell you how good of a basketball player that Julius Randle is without gushing a little bit. I just love the way he can play. Very versatile big. As this gets flipped around the horn here, Cam Thomas, now for Mikal Bridges. And Bridges is just so strong, but again, that was a mismatch. I think Jalen Brunson might be the unfortunate party as far as picking up a foul because little body contact as Bridges was going to the lane. You're getting about 4 inches and I would say at least about 45 pounds. As Ben Simmons continues to sit on the bench. Again, he has a little bit of a soulless look to him, right? Like he's never into the game, not cheering with anybody. Like he's just kind of there. That kind of rubs me the wrong way. Lob opportunity from Royce O'Neal to Sharpe. And that one's going to count from point blank. Tied at 80 with 3 minutes left to go in the third. We'll see if Simmons will get some more time, if that's just the one breath he's going to get. This is a close game. Good block there by Bridges as Brunson tried to make something happen. So Brunson went to jump, and literally Bridges will just take out his left hand and just swat it away like a kid trying to reach for a piece of candy or something like that. Just knock it right out of his hands. So not even having to jump on that one. That's what we talked about on defense for the size mismatch. Isaiah Hartenstein will get it in from the trigger man from Brunson. Randle step back for 3. This is off the front of the rim, and Bridges will sky for the rebound. That gives it to Cam Thomas. Going to go quickly right to left. 2:40 left to go in this third. Thomas gets probed. He got just blasted by a bunch of Knicks, and this gets picked up now left to right. It was just a mall phone booth there. Couldn't go anywhere. Now Immanuel Quickley He's open to the right wing side. That was a good screen by Randle, but he missed it. Isaiah Hartenstein can't clean the mess, and Durant Sharpe's got the basketball. Leaving now here for Bridges. Bridges is going to run some point time. Bridges with the hook. Durant Sharpe can't save it. Here come the Knicks. Couple pair of misses on both sides. Jalen Brunson. Beautiful move to the lane off the stutter step. And it's 82-80 as he just destroyed his defense right there. Third straight game with 30-plus points. Third time this season. My goodness, with this third straight game with 30. He's an instant bucket, as we said. Cam Thomas, inside pass. And this is going to be a foul against Josh Hart. Both teams in the bonus. So Brooklyn should be going to the line to shoot two. The Knicks currently have a 82-80 lead as we're getting dangerously close to the end of the third quarter. Again, I appreciate Chris following along on the Twitter Spaces. All of you guys that have bounced in and out between the YouTube side, that's been busy as well. I said for my YouTube question, I said, can the new look Nets make the playoffs? Just a few votes there, 3 out of 4. 75% of you say yes. So Mikal Bridges will take a seat here for the rest of this third quarter, presumably here. There's only a minute 53 left. Dorian Finney-Smith will check back in. Joe Harris will as well. So Mikal Bridges, again, I guess he's having some accountability with some of the shots that he missed or going to the lane. As he was slapping hands and saying, my fault, I apologize. I don't know what he needs to apologize for, but still, I love that accountability. As this is picked up now by Brunson off of a couple missed free throws. So it's still 82-80 as Durant Sharpe missed them both. Screen here. It's Harris against Brunson. I don't like this mismatch here for Joe Harris. Step back for Brunson! Bottoms, 85-80 from the right wing. How did the Dallas Mavericks let this guy go? Question mark. I know it's Kyrie Irving now, but Jalen Brunson kind of seems like the same player. An absolute killer on the floor. It's 85-80, a foul against the Knicks. We'll see if Durant Sharpe is going to go back to the line. Getting a TV replay of this is Joe Harris against Jalen Brunson. What are you going to do? When you get a step back and you gain about 6 feet of space and Joe Harris gets completely frozen, that was like an amethyst badge in NBA 2K. That's not an exaggeration. 14 points and 6 of 7 shooting this quarter for Jalen. And the Knicks have needed them all. This is still a close game. So Sharpe to the line. He's going to try to atone for his sins in the previous where he missed 2. Going to try to make this next 2. Try to make this an 85-82 lead for the Knicks. We'll be back down to 3. I think this was a good pivot assignment on my end as we were going to go with the Nuggets and the Heat, but there were so many injuries on both sides. I wanted to just make sure, as you got to look at Mike Breen and Clyde Frazier, as he's got a sharp suit and all that stuff on there. But again, I'm not really a Mike Breen fan. I apologize for everyone else that are. That ABC side of the broadcast between Mark Jackson and Van Gundy and Breen, I think that's just a little bit of a snooze fest. So I always try to get away from that as much as possible when I can. I might be in the minority of all that, but I'm also probably in the minority because a lot of you guys say you like Joe Buck. I don't. He makes me fall asleep. So Isaiah Hartenstein will get a little bit of a cut, and we are going to get a timeout for a little bit of repairs. So I'm going to turn off the recorder part until we get to the actual part of calling the game again. So that's what we have right now. So it's not really a timeout for anybody on the floor, but it's just a timeout for everybody else. As Hartenstein's going to get a little bit of repairs toward the right arm. He's cut toward the middle of the right arm. Just a small one there, but they got to get the blood and everything all squared away. So John out here with you on yes. We're watching this on NBA League Pass. It's a 85-81 lead for the Knicks. Again, the Nets have won the last 9 games in the Battle of New York. I do think this is a different Knicks team. I also think this is a different Nets team we're looking at right now without Durant and Irving. But good pieces all the way around. Again, as Chris had talked about it, and you guys have mentioned this on the YouTube side, I think this is a Nets team that is going to be going places. I still think the roster and everything else in the future is very good. So Durant Sharpe has missed 3 of the last 4 at the line. He only splits the pair. And the Knicks have an 85-81 lead as the repairs have been done there for Isaiah Hartenstein. And now Jalen Brunson has it. 5 seconds to go on the shot clock. Double there for Harris. They got to get the ball out of his hands. Down to 2. Josh Hart got to make something happen. Floats it. Scores! Josh Hart gets the 2. And I believe this one should count, or at least call the foul from what I see on the floor. So it is 1.5 left to go on the shot clock. That's got to count. Josh Hart should be going on the line for an and one opportunity over Dorian Finney-Smith and the outstretched arms there of Durant Sharpe. Unless they really call that on the floor before that. No, they didn't. They gave it to Josh Hart. I think it had to. As we are down to 54 seconds left to go in the third. 88-81. The Knicks have the edge. They've had a hell of a third quarter right now as they're being led by Jalen Brunson. But what else is new? Julius Randle has been good as well, as this ball is going to get almost knocked away. This would be an opportunity for the Brooklyn Nets, but they can't finish in close with Royce O'Neal. And Isaiah Hartenstein got hit toward the left eye. So they just had to have some repairs toward the right arm. Is that little bit of that freezing spray to cover part of that cut. Now he got hit toward the left side of the eye off the rebound. Royce O'Neal got smacked right across the face. So we'll see what they call on that side. Isaiah Hartenstein, former Houston Rocket, going to go back to the line to shoot 2 as both teams are on the bonus. About 36 seconds left to go in the third. I appreciate you guys following along on the YouTube side as well. The 5 likes on that side. And again, I know it doesn't sound like a lot, but that is a lot for me. Don't normally get all those. As Pudge NYCE, Pudge Nice says, salute. I appreciate that, my friend. I'm having some fun with this on the NBA League Pass side as we're at MSG to call this game. I have the yes feed for the Brooklyn side. Again, Ben Simmons, they just shadowed him on the TV side. He hasn't checked in at all since getting maybe a few minutes in that first half. So that kind of makes you wonder what they think of Ben Simmons, especially when a game's in crunch time. The game's over, you think he's going to get some time, but hate to keep going back to that one because it's just $100 million staring you in the face. It's not on the floor, but it is what it is. So Obi Toppin going to pick up the foul. Brooklyn's missed a lot of free throws, and they've got to clean this up right now as Nick Claxton will get set to check back in. Royce O'Neal at the line for Dose. Knocks down the first. It's now 90-82. So they're showing Ben Simmons again. He must be on the bike. I see him working the legs or whatever else. He's got a little bit of a stone look, a little bit emotionless, I always say, as he just continues to look at the scoreboard, look up, just staring into space like a creepy doll. Now I finally see a smile on his face as they're talking about something. It's his third straight game off the bench. He started the previous 27 games. So got to be nursing a little bit of an injury as well. But now he's finally talking to a couple of his teammates as they keep showing him on the bike. So O'Neal makes a couple. It's now 90-83, about 25 seconds left to go in the third. I wish they'd pan away. I want to see the game as this is picked up now by Jalen Brunson. He just crosses the timeline. About a 7-second difference in the shot clock. Almost tongue-tied myself. This is a screen from Isaiah Hartenstein. Jalen Brunson step back from the right wing. He has been knocking the 3-ball down all game. And the Knicks are up by 10. 93-83. I know we have a whole other quarter to play, but they got to stop him. Mikal Bridges checks in. Got to get the shot off. They do. Royce O'Neal missed it off the front of the rim. He had a great look to end the quarter. But at the end of the third, the Knicks up by double digits. 93-83 in the Battle of New York. We'll see what will change. Come back. We're going to start the fourth quarter in a moment. I appreciate the follow, Chris. Let me do the same. I just saw this light back up on the other side. So Chris said I'll be back as LeBron is out again. I'd say second round ceiling, says Chris, when we talk about the playoff side of it from earlier, they could definitely beat teams like Miami and possibly the Cavs and Philly due to Embiid's lack of playoff health. But I can't see them getting past the Bucks or the Celtics. You know what? That'll be another one. I can just go ahead and give you another one of those likes on that side because, dude, I you can't say it any better. I think he absolutely nailed it. That'd be the one thing I'd be concerned about in between Boston and Milwaukee, right? That's the class of the East. I think everybody kind of feels that. But again, the Sixers are the wild card, and I do think you have a point. For as much as you want to talk about Philadelphia, look, I like James Harden. He's a great player. He's not going to be able to do it by himself. If it's James Harden and Tobias Harris, even with the professional players that they have, I still think the Brooklyn Nets are a better team if they don't have Joel Embiid. I think of Dorian Finney-Smith and the rest of that lineup. I'm sorry to put this cough drop, I'm choking myself out. And between Mikal Bridges and Cam Johnson, I think that they're just as good. And I think the whole player roster situation for Brooklyn is just better. So if they don't have Joel Embiid, to your point, I think that that's going to make a world of difference. And I agree with you. I think they would beat Philadelphia. I appreciate your comments as always, Chris. It's been lively. I'm going to try to send you a follow-on on that side too. So Ben Simmons, he's got 2 points on 1 of 2 shooting in 8 minutes. He's going to start this fourth quarter right now. Lob opportunity for Obi Toppin right out of the fourth quarter break there. And Obi Toppin makes it a 95-83 game. And that's what Obi wants. And if you just find him, he can catch it from anywhere. Cam Johnson down the lane, he answers with a difficult 2, 95-85. As Mobley will leave this now here for Josh Hart. And now Immanuel Quickley get the screen from Hartenstein. Quickley puts the ball on the floor, flips it off the glass. He's going to go to line to shoot 2. This one's going to get picked up on Spencer Dinwiddie. All he can do is smile and just hand the basketball over across because if he picks up another one, he's going to get teched out of this game. As Obi Toppin, that's about as easy as you like. You've seen him in the dunk contest. He just soared for the right wing side and finished. Easy hops. Again, that's all Obi Toppin wants. Just look for him. Make sure if you see him, put that hand up. You got to lob it up there. He's going to get it. Immanuel Quickley missed the front end of the first free throw. Got one more coming, though, as the Knicks will try to make this a 96-85 game. I always try to ration out the amount of cough drops that I use, try to give it 1 per game and keep all this stuff going because you don't want to be dependent on anything. But I was almost choking myself out during the comments before we got in the fourth. As Quickley got the friendly rim. And Ben Simmons be the trigger man here. Ben Simmons actually can get the run some point as Royce O'Neal said, let's take it and see if we can engineer something. So now this is a chance for O'Neal. O'Neal now for Harris. He throws it right away. So what I would like to see again, I hate to say it with Simmons, but Royce O'Neal said, Ben, let's run the point. You run a play. I trust you. And what does Simmons do immediately? He gives it right back to Royce O'Neal and turns it over to Joe Harris. Be aggressive, young fellow. Go to the rim. Even if you miss some shots, I don't care if you go 2 of 20. I think fans just want to see you do something. And now the Knicks turn it over. 10:55 left to go in the fourth. 96-85. The Knicks are the lead. They're out in front. It's pretty clean as far as turnovers are concerned. 6 for the Knicks, 5 for the Brooklyn Nets. And an and 1 opportunity for Spencer Dinwiddie upcoming. As Immanuel Quickley got a piece of the arm. And he hooked that one in off the floater from about 15 feet. So Dinwiddie going to go to the line for 2. And as we said, Dinwiddie's a big guard, about 6'6". He's not a knockdown three-point shooter, but he's more than capable. He had 20 points in the first half. He's got 3 now in the second half. You got to believe this fourth quarter is going to be his time. With the amount of all-around pieces that Brooklyn has, and Chris had pointed out now, it's no longer a go-to star. Dinwiddie's going to have to be that guy. Now, did Hartenstein pivot with his foot and travel? Yes, he did. So that basket's going to be negated. And now quickly, sideline out of bounds. It's Simmons now to Cam Johnson. Leave it here for Spencer Dinwiddie. Dinwiddie gets around Josh Hart up the screen from Simmons. Cam Johnson, right wing 3 up the front of the rim, rebounded by Isaiah Hartenstein. We'll get this over now to Immanuel Quickley. Immanuel Quickley now left right across the timeline. 15 seconds too much to work with on the shot clock. 10:15 left to go in the fourth. Knicks up 96-88. As Toppin will spin. Going to have to get the pass outlet for three, and that is off the mark. And a long outstretched pass for Durant Sharpe. He couldn't corral it, and it's a turnover. Josh Hart down the lane, lays it in, and the Knicks now are back up by 10. So I do like the effort there from Simmons. He got the outstretched pass. It was there. Royce O'Neal just didn't connect on it. He should have kept his eyes open because it was wide open off the cherry pick. But instead, Jacque Vaughn's going to take a timeout with 9:58 left. So NBA scores. The Nuggets do have a 105-98 lead. Let's check in on the Jokic triple-double watch, shall we? Jokic, he's got 25 points and 12 rebounds. He only needs 2 more assists to get another trip dub. Good balanced scoring for the Denver Nuggets as Porter got 17. 12 off the bench for Jermichael Green. Let me see if I get that right now. Jeff Green. Again, I should get that right because that is the former. Was that the Seattle Supersonics or was it the OKC Thunder? Because Jeff Green's been around for a long, long time. I'd have to throw back into the Wayback Machine. Jimmy Butler with 24. Max Strus with 20. Bam Adebayo has 15. Again, Bam Adebayo just has 2 rebounds. That is very peculiar for me. But again, when you're matched up with Jokic, it might be the reason why. Magic all over the Bulls, 65-52. It is Pelicans Thunder. Thunder fought back in the game, 67-62. I thought about maybe doing the Timberwolves Mavericks game again with D Hall, but I figured you might be a little bit of transition time there for Dallas. Doncic got 12 on 4 of 8 shooting. Kyrie Irving just 2 of 7 with 4. Reggie Bullock a -18. He's in the starting lineup right now. Christian Wood, he's been excellent. 5 of 8 off the bench for 13 points. He's got the same as Luka. And on the other end, Anthony Edwards experience 6 of 11 were 18. Rudy Gobert with 13. So Rudy Gobert might be taking that one a little personal. Remember during the playoffs with the Utah Jazz, he got destroyed from 3. But here's the problem. Dallas does not have Davis Bertans or Maxi Kleber. So maybe you can't take advantage of that matchup as much as you like. Because if they were out there, I think you could easily flip the scoreline because Rudy Gobert showed you he can't step out and guard the 3, but when he doesn't have to, and he can be locked in the paint, I don't care how many first-round picks you give up for him, you know he's still going to be able to play defense. Even though I will say that wasn't the right decision. Little whisper side of it, I think Minnesota gave up a little bit too much, but you want to get back to relevancy if you're Minnesota. So I understand as an outside fan like all of you do, but that was a lot to give up. So the Battle of Villanova championship teammates, Jalen Brunson got the wide edge, 17 points in the third, 36. Mikal Bridges have just 7 right now. It's not a game that's out of reach just yet, but the Knicks are enjoying a double-digit lead with 9:50 left to go in the fourth. John Hunter with you. We're at MSG, calling the Battle of New York. It's the last 9 belonging to the Brooklyn Nets. Knicks trying to break that streak. As this is passed nicely for Royce O'Neal inside to Ben Simmons. It's a kickball. This will stay with the Brooklyn Nets. I appreciate again, Chris. It's been following along consistently on the Twitter Spaces. It's been very busy on the YouTube side as well. So I appreciate you guys. You're enjoying the Battle of New York. It's a good pivot ascent for me. As Cam Johnson trying to get a back down of Obi Toppin, having a fall away. It was Dinwiddie, and he hit it off the side of the backboard. And now Immanuel Quickley get a chance to collect. We'll see if the Knicks will slow it down a little bit with a double-digit lead. Again, they're not going to take their foot off the gas, but just try to get a good possession. As this one got knocked away, the Nets want to say it was last touched by Quickley, and Quickley obviously the opposite answer on the other end. As we're watching this on the Yes feed, Ben Simmons got the strip, and I'm going to take another look to see if it went off of Quickley's leg. I think it might have been. This could be a good call there for the Nets if they want to challenge this. 98-88 as players are coming together. They need to separate the referees a little bit. Again, we have a little bit of a mixed crew as far as the refs are, so you got to make sure you stay away from the crew chief and don't get a opposite hand into her face. Again, I don't have the names in front of me. If I had the RotoWire stuff still up there, I could tell you. 9:21. This will stay with the Knicks. And now this will go the other way as we get a offensive foul off of an illegal screen. And Tom Thibodeau has some words for the female referee, and he is livid. I'm going to pull up the RotoWire NBA lineups for my side of it just to be able to throw some credibility to these names, as this is a basketball out of bounds again, and I believe this will stay with the Nets. So I'm going to pull this up real quick as we're getting a little bit of a jumbled action and pull this all the way down. So the officials tonight are Rodney Mott, Jacqueline Goebel, and Cheryl Flores. So I think that was Cheryl Flores that was getting some words from Tom Thibodeau, and we'll see if that ends up to anything else, because he was pretty livid on that side. So Spencer Dinwiddie gets down the baseline, puts it all the way around to Joe Harris. Joe Harris with an extra pass. Cam Johnson left wing for three, and he hits it down. So the Knicks have gotten to the century mark, but Brooklyn just answered with a three. It's 100-91 as the feed's starting to get a little choppy here on this side. So maybe some other users are starting to pick up. Not on my side, but the NBA app's a little busy. So Mobley moves this around the home. RB Toppin got to let this go off the front of the rim. And now Royce O'Neal raced on the floor quickly. It's 1-on-2. Dinwiddie, right wing three. Dinwiddie off the front of the rim. Try to get saved by Ben Simmons. Back tap Harris. Now for O'Neal. Dinwiddie thought about it. 10 seconds to work with on the shot clock. That'll be 8 minutes exactly if they use it all in the fourth. As this is a Knicks foul. Immanuel Quickley will pick it up. 191 is still the score with 8:07 left in the fourth. The shot clock will reset to 14. Julius Randle will get checked back in. Probably a good idea as Brooklyn's trying to get a little bit closer to make a run here. Jacque Vaughn will look on. As it's going to be the sideline out of bounds basketball. It's Simmons now from Johnson off the screen. Cam Johnson kind of stuck nowhere. Now he's got to try to make something happen against Isaiah Hartenstein. And it's going to be an offensive foul. Travel against Cam Johnson. As we look on the other end, Obi Toppin, he has some words, and RJ Barrett looks like he went to the room. So I don't know if RJ Barrett either got injured or he got ejected. I think it was just an injury. I didn't see any text on that side that RJ already had as he went right into the room. So 191. It's Knicks basketball. Quickley for three. Cans it from the left wing as he shows the fans and the bench. 103-91. Knicks up by 12. Spencer Dinwiddie, as he was able to keep the dribble alive away from Josh Hart and score the basket over Hartenstein. My goodness, what a play by Spencer Dinwiddie. As the ball should have went out of his left hand, but he was so strong to keep it palm, keep the dribble alive, get around Josh Hart. He took on the taller Isaiah Hartenstein, scooped and laid it in. What a play by Spencer Dinwiddie. 103-93. As this will be a check back in for Nicholas Claxton. Ben Simmons will sit back down. 7:30 left to go in the fourth. Knicks up by 10. Again, as we talked about a couple minutes ago, Brooklyn's not out of it yet, but they need to start making some inroads as far as not keeping pace. They need to start getting out in front, as they are only down now by 9 as the end one is completed. Again, they missed some of those opportunities at the line, which could prove to be the ultimate detriment. Jalen Brunson with 10 seconds to work on the shot clock. Josh Hart's wide open from the right wing side, trying to get tapped by Hartenstein. This gets saved by Immanuel quickly now, as Hartenstein can touch this one to Hart. Hart scoop laid up, scores! Unbelievable plays on both ends as the LFG. That's what Hart is saying. If you abbreviate that, you know what that means, and put a exclamation point on the end of it. Good work there by the Knicks. It was in between 3 different players, and then it ended up being a challenge between Hart and Claxton, and Hart won the battle. He's going to go to the line for an and one opportunity. Wow. 7:05 left to go in the fourth. As this is flipped up and in by Hart. 106-94 now the score. The Knicks have the edge in the paint right now, 40 points to 28. That's why they're up 106-94. Dinwiddie rocks the dribble. Top of the key for three off the front of the rim. Again, Dinwiddie, the reason why he's been cold a little bit in the second half is just not taking as good of shots as he was in the first. Maybe not getting them as well because of the defense, but still, you have to throw that out there. Julius Randle with the basketball, trying to get around Dorian Finney-Smith. He got tripped up. This should be a foul against DFS. And we'll see if Randle going to go to the line. He got a little bit banged up, probably shaking up the cobwebs a little bit on that left knee, maybe a knee-to-knee contact, but he looks no worse for wear. 6:40 left to go in the fourth. Dinwiddie might be the one that's picking up as the camera's zooming in on him. Kel Bridges will get set to come back into this basketball game. With 6:40 left in the fourth, Joe Harris will sit down. Haven't seen a lot of Joe Harris as well because he's been shut down from three. You know what he's going to do. You got to make sure he's not open. Keep the hand in the face at all times. Playing that Kyle Korver role. So Brunson get the screen from Hartenstein. And now Hart as Brunson now toward the right wing, step back. Hits the three off the front of the rim. Hartenstein trying to get a piece of it. Hart also in there as well. And we'll see if this will be called against the Knicks or the Nets. Jacque Vaughn has some words for his players, not the referee. So I'm imagining this is going to be Nets basketball and over the back maybe against Isaiah Hartenstein from what my initial observance is with 6:28 left to go in the fourth. It's been a good contest. 106-94 is your score as we're getting close to the final frame. This doesn't look like a game that's going to be an OT, as it's going to be Nets basketball and sideline out of bounds. And now Spencer Dinwiddie. We'll get this here from Royce O'Neal as we just crossed the timeline right to left again. Brooklyn Nets in the all black and the Knicks in the all white at home. This is the Battle of New York and foul off the ball. And this will stay with Brooklyn. Or charge from Dinwiddie, excuse me. Now, Dinwiddie's got to be careful as he's having some words. He's already got one tech, so they want to make sure that he doesn't pick up the second. And I would need to look at this one more time just to see if justice is a charge. I know the feed's kind of jumping a little bit, but still. They called that the whole way through, and they were definitive about it. No argument. So Jalen Brunson lob for Hartenstein. And now this could be getting away from Brooklyn here with 108-94 with 6 minutes left in the fourth. They got to make their inroads right now. 42-28 points in the paint, courtesy of the Yes bracket on the graphic screen. It's their largest lead of the night. It's 14. Dinwiddie gets fouled on the three by Josh Hart. And that will put Brooklyn in the free throw line with a chance for 3 opportunities from the free throw line. Again, appreciate Chris sticking with me the whole way through. It's been pretty active on the YouTube side per usual. And I would say for some of that, but not for basketball or some other assignments I do. You guys have been great. I said, can the new look Nets make the playoffs? And now 5 out of 6 of you say yes instead of no on that side. And I would agree. I think that's the right call. So the first free throw is missed by Brooklyn. And that's probably going to be a little bit of the story that we'll talk about toward the end of it. He had 20 points at 6 of 12 in the first half. He got 7 points and 2 of 9 in the second half. So Dinwiddie, he made both. I guess he wasn't fouled from the three-point line. So 8 of 21 from the floor. That's what we can talk about. So Ryan Masuko brought that up. 108-96 with 5:35 left to go in the fourth. Brunson rocks the basketball, gets down the lane with the floater, and he hits it. 110-96. Jalen Brunson has been stuck on automatic right now. It's Tim Klitschko from NBA Jam. He's easily on fire. And again, I don't say that lightly. As Dinwiddie turns it over, it's a 3-on-2 fast break opportunity. And Quickley will quickly go to the line because he's got an opportunity for a couple free throws here off the fast break. As Dinwiddie just got his lunch money stolen from him. 5:19 left to go in the fourth. So Hart with the pocket pass quickly was off to the races, and Royce O'Neal could do nothing. That was in the act of shooting, but Jacque Vaughn going to make sure he'll take a timeout. I guess he's got nothing to lose right now with 5:19 left in the fourth. We're going to take a look here as we're going to get a commercial break. So I'm going to try to reload this here just in case because it was bouncing around a little bit on this feed, so we'll try to reload it with 5:19 left in the first. I can safely do so because we got a commercial break. Again, it's not a situation where the internet will be an issue. It's just this app on League Pass side, and even when you stream on it, it's very outdated. So they got to do this. I think it was a Roku app. So this isn't even the correct thing. This is just for the Fire Stick. I know it's all the same for streaming, but they got to get it dedicated and get on the P's and Q's and figure that out on the NBA side. Because even if you have it on the Xbox side or the PlayStation or do anything else on the TV, it's very bouncy. The only ones that can get definitive feeds that are clear are those that are on a cell phone. What's going on, Isaiah? How are you doing? We're in a little bit of a commercial break right now as Jacque Vaughn is challenging the play. I don't think the Nets are going to be able to get this basketball back. It will be with the Knicks probably with 110.96 left to go in the fourth. We got 5:19 in which left to work with. This could be the first win for the New York Knicks in the Battle of New York against the Brooklyn Nets. They'll be 1 out of 10. They lost the last 9 games. So this could be pretty big here. And for Brooklyn, again, they got new pieces. When I worked with Dustin Hall on the Mavericks side of it, when you thought about it, it was the new look for Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic. And there were some pieces in to be moved, but I think Brooklyn's going to figure that out. Also think they need to figure out what's going on with Ben Simmons and make sure everything else is all healthy on that end. So 13 lead changes, 8 ties. Largest lead for Brooklyn was 4. Largest lead for the Knicks was 14. Nets had 10 turnovers, 12, and Knicks had 12 points off of them. Spencer Dinwiddie had 20 in the first half. Josh Hart's got 20 off the bench for the Knicks. So Josh Hart, I always give him a lot of credit. Former Portland Trail Blazers. I think he's a really, really good basketball player that can do a little bit of everything. I think the Pelicans also probably miss him as well. But not as much as they miss Zion. So we're going to get clarification here in a moment's notice as the NBA feeds out front now. So this is Immanuel Quickley at the line. Figured it was going to be a shooting foul. That's what they ended up calling. So Quickley makes the first of 2. And now it's 111-96, the score on the floor right now. Is Jacque Vaughn having some communication with the referee and a little nice friendly conversation. Looks like a lot more subdued there. 5:19 left in the fourth. John, I went there from MSG so that the Knicks can pull out a big win. Humbly appreciate everyone that's followed along between Twitter Spaces and YouTube sides. Been very active. Both teams in the bonus the rest of the way. Spencer Dinwiddie, got to make something happen. You got to make it happen now. Mikal Bridges trying to get down the lane, falls down. And we'll see if the foul is going to be called against the Knicks. He looked like he slipped on a banana peel, no questions about it, as Bridges was going in the lane. He was already getting bumped. He was getting knocked down by Quickley and Brunson and Hartenstein. He was just trying to drive the lane and make something happen off the pass. But because it's a bonus, Mikal Bridges will go to the line and shoot 2. And Jalen Brunson and Immanuel Quickley are having some words to make sure that there wasn't some pushing or shoving or what they want to call. So Bridges at the line, and he missed the first. Again, Brooklyn's done that a few times. As this is updated right now, 22 out of 32 is Brooklyn at the free throw line, just under 70%. And Bridges missed both. So now they're really under 70%, as it's not doing them any favors right now with 5 minutes left to go in this contest, unless Brooklyn can pull off some sort of miracle. It's Brunson. He rocks the dribble to the right wing side of the show and go double. It's a kickball. This is going to stay with the Knicks as it bounced off of Finney-Smith's left foot. 4:54 left to go in the fourth. Knicks have their largest lead right now. It is 16, 102-96. Brunson getting the signals. He wants the isolation. Thought about the step back. Now it's Royce O'Neal. Shoots a 3 at the top of the key. Rainbows it. And he draws the foul from 3. So Brunson going to go to the line. And that's exactly what you don't want if you're Brooklyn. You're already running out of time, and this game is likely over at this point with 4:43 left to go in the fourth. So Jalen Brunson is getting the MVP chance from the MSG faithful. I don't blame him. So for Brunson, how about this line? 15 out of 21 from the field. And he's going to continue to add to these points here. Is Jalen? Wow, he spun that one about 7 times. It looked like a globe, and then it bounced all the way out. He couldn't get any closer as far as making a free throw. And as far as a foul opportunity, if I'm Royce O'Neal, again, he was very quiet about it. I thought maybe that shouldn't have been one, to be honest with everybody. So Jalen Brunson will make the second of 3, and we'll see what goes on with this one. So as it stands, Jalen Brunson, he makes this one. He'll get 40 points. He's a plus 21 on the floor. That would lead everybody on 15 of 21 shooting. Just 5 assists, but 40 points. And he gets 40. 114.96. His third career game with 40-plus points, all in the last 18 games. So Jalen Brunson has been on some kind of run. Dorian Finney-Smith tried to answer from 3 off the front of the rim, and now it's with Immanuel Quickley. Left to right across the timeline. Quickley will get this back here now for Julius Randle. Sit up here for Brunson. At the Knicks logo, you figure New York are going to take their time right now. As a screen, off-ball foul is called. This should stay with the Knicks. Cam Thomas going to be called with the off-ball foul. Both teams are in the bonus. 4:19 left to go on the fourth. John here with you. On the play-by-play side, we're going to get set to close out the Knicks and the Nets. This will be a game story that will be on hopelesssportsguy.wordpress.com per usual, alongside with the recorder side. And on the recorder side that I'm talking into, not the Twitter Spaces side, it'll be just the NBA broadcast. So no fluffer, no filler on that side. But if you do want to get involved with the blog, hopelesssportsguy.wordpress.com or Hopeless Sports Guy as far as the podcast, you can get them anywhere you get your podcast. We got all the sometimes we do some radio stuff. A lot of times we end up calling games. All that stuff's in there in its entirety. If you have any comments, questions, and concerns, I always talk about those during the game. Put those in there as well. So if you want to get your name in there, let me know. So 4:18 left to go in the game, I should say. It's 114.96 and a timeout for Thibodeau. Let's finish it out when we come back. So again, with the NBA League Pass, I'm just getting the live feed of what everyone else sees. I always throw that out there just in case you guys are interested. Sometimes I don't see the TV commercial side of it. So let me see if there's any finals. Yes, there are. The Nuggets survived the Heat 112-108. This ended up being a good game. This game was a good game as well, so I don't really mind the pivot. It didn't really mess up either of my plans. They both started at 7:30. Nikola Jokic did not get a triple-double. He had 27, 12, and 8 and a 112-108 win. The leading scorer for the Miami Heat was none other than Jimmy Butler, 8 of 18 from the field with 24 points. Let's see what the other finals are as we're going to get close to checking back into the action. The Rockets got lambasted by the 76ers, but you'd expect that, 123-104. It's the Jazz with an edge in a close one over the Pacers, 123-117. And the other final here for you, the Cavaliers closed out the Spurs. Again, the Spurs are 14-44 on the season, so the Cavs had to win that one anyway. They improved to 25-6 on their home floor. They won 117-109. And the Hornets, high-scoring game against the Atlanta Hawks. They're 16-43 on the season. The Hawks drop a bad one there, 144-138. As Sadiq Bey doesn't get the win, former Piston. It's Brooklyn Nets basketball with 4:05 left to go. It's David Duke, as they're going to get some garbage time, they would say in the NBA, with some of these bench players. And now Jalen Brunson. Again, you would think every time the Knicks touch the ball right now with a 115-96 lead, you take your time, make something good happen. Jalen Brunson will try to get a piece of this to Isaiah Hartenstein, but this one off of the Nets. This will stay with the Knicks off the jump pass. And again, if Ben Simmons is really injured, he's probably going to go ahead and sit on the rest of this game. But why not give him some extra time as well when you know the game is out of hand at this point? So Jalen Brunson getting one hell of a hand here from the New York crowd, and they know all about basketball, as Jalen Brunson had a spectacular game. And we're going to close out the rest of this 351. So Hartenstein, now with Immanuel quickly got cut off. He's going to just spin and fade and shoot from about 15 in the mid-range. He knocks it down, 117.96. It is a 21-point lead for the New York Knicks, so they've definitely come out, and they finally got a big-time win here, as Sharpe will hit from 15, 117.98. The Knicks will roll this basketball. Technically, shot clock and everything else isn't supposed to be starting, but they still have the game clock run down. That's how that one goes. So Immanuel Quickley has it at the Knicks logo. About 10 seconds to which to work with in the shot clock. Get a screen from Isaiah Hartenstein trying to get on Sharpe. Josh Hart's all alone from the left wing side. 120-98. This game is going to look like a laugher more so than it really was. David Duke down the lane. He'll try to get the Brooklyn Nets in the century mark, but he can't do it as he gets too strong up the front of the rim. 2:45 left to go in the fourth. It's 120-98 at MSG. John, I'm here with you. We'll close this out, get the game story and the play-by-play and everything else uploaded shortly. I have the Red Wings game and the Vancouver Canucks to watch while I'm getting all this stuff typed up, as that's going to be getting underway in about 20 minutes. As Obi Toppin, nice no-look pass. Hart again falling away from the left wing. And he hits it before the shot clock expires. Josh Hart certainly feeling himself a little bit in this game. He has been absolutely spectacular. And another large reason why the Knicks have the lead. He's getting close to 30 points, I believe. I have to check the unofficial box score. David Duke hits it off the front of the rim. Now it's 123-100 with 2 minutes left to go in the fourth. As it's all over but the crying right now, I'll pull up the official box score that I got at the moment here for ESPN's side. And I want to see Josh Hart's got 27 on 10 of 14 from the bench. You cannot ask any more of someone like that as we get a timeout on the floor. A little bit unnecessary for my take, but we'll figure this out with 152 left in the fourth.
Claxton, and no, this is not the dunk, this is the drive, coast to coast, off a defensive stop. Does an excellent job surveying the floor here and realizing he can keep it himself.
So Chris, in his comment about 25 minutes ago, he's also following on the YouTube side. So I appreciate that. That was the same one on that side, I believe. You mentioned. I also give credit to the Nets coach, Jacque Vaughn. He's been absolutely great despite all the drama. Yeah, I think he had to, and I think it's one of those situations where what was going on with Steve Nash. Some things had to happen. Look, it's not the easiest situation to be throwing yourself into, and I agree with you. I think he's given himself full marks as well, and he's done well. And hopefully, when you get into the playoff side of it, it'll be more of an opportunity for Jacque Vaughn to prove just how good of a coach he is. Still got a minute 52 left to go in our contest before we will break out for the night. Tomorrow, I will be back with you guys. It's going to be a rematch of the Stanley Cup Finals in between the Colorado Avalanche and the Tampa Bay Lightning. That's up for 9:15 Eastern. As I'm broadcasting off the Michigan side on ESPN Plus. So Watanabe gets the ball knocked away from him. Both teams are in the bonus. Watanabe is going to go to the line for 2 free throws. And again, I remember between Anthony Edwards and Watanabe last year, that's what you remember him for, is absolutely getting dunked on. Again, that's not to say that any of these NBA players aren't great, but I think that's a moment that you absolutely will not forget as Watanabe knocks down the first. He's got one more coming. Trying to get this to a 123-102 game with a $1:40 left to go in the fourth. Watanabe's second free throw is up and good as he rattles it in, gets the friendly roll. Now a minute 35 left to go at MSG. Looks like the Knicks will pick up this win as they got a lot of their bench unit in as Jericho Sims will leave this off of the pass. It's Evan Fournier actually getting some time. Remember, Fournier used to be able to start a little bit. And now he's coming off the bench nowadays, but again, you can't blame him. Tom Thibodeau did this rightly here, and they played very well. Duke, floater, scores 124, 123, 104, excuse me, as it's 110 left to go in the fourth. Joe Harris looks on right now as they've cut away from the game side, but the clock continues to dwindle. Knicks have a couple possessions left as Sharpe gets knocked down to the floor. We'll see what this is called, if this is an offensive foul or if someone's going to go back to the line with 123, 104 left to go. 123, 104, the score, and 58 seconds left to go in the fourth. I guess we're all ready for this one to be over. 58 seconds left to go in the fourth. This will be an opportunity for the Knicks at the line to make two. And I will need to pull up my roster as far as who is going to be at the line. I think this is Miles McBride, number 2 at the line right now to shoot 2 for the Knicks. So McBride splits the pair, makes it 124 to 104. The Knicks are up by 20. They're going to get a convincing win right now. And let's just take a look at what this could do for the NBA standings. I'll pull this up on the other side. As we have just a little bit of basketball left to go, it's a 3 from the corner that's missed by the Nets and then rebounded by Durant and Sharpe. I'm just going to go ahead and give you a little bit of look before we close out the broadcast. So the Brooklyn Nets will fall to 33 and 24. They will stay the 5th seed in the Eastern Conference, and the New York Knicks will improve to 32 and 27. And with the Miami Heat loss to the Nuggets, they will have the same record, so that could possibly move the Knicks up into the 6th spot away from the play-in, as long as Miami Heat didn't win the first meeting that they've had. So this basketball will be dribbled out by Durant Sharpe, and that's going to do it as the New York Knicks crowd rises their feet at MSG. It's a big 124-106 victory for the Knicks of the Nets. This is John Ott signing off. I will talk to you tomorrow between the Tampa Bay Lightning and the Colorado Avalanche. We'll see about 9:15 Eastern on Twitter Spaces and the YouTube side. We will get you the full game story and everything else in just a little while. Peace out, guys. Have a great night and be safe. Thank you, Chris. I appreciate you, my friend, following along the whole way through on this Twitter Spaces side. Everybody on the YouTube side, humbly appreciate it as well. We will see you tomorrow night. Peace.